Live from Las Cruces, New Mexico, Aggie Vision proudly presents New Mexico State Aggie football. Tonight, a Sun Belt Conference game, New Mexico State Aggies and the Georgia Southern Eagles. Take a look at the Sun Belt Conference football standings as we kick off here tonight. And of the teams that have played Sun Belt Conference games already, only 3 of them are undefeated. 2 of them, Georgia Southern and New Mexico State, will face each other here tonight on Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night here at Aggie Memorial Stadium. I'm Jeff Symbieta along with former Aggie great Danny Nee. New Mexico State trying to snap a 3-game losing streak as they jump back into conference play. Meanwhile, the Eagles come in and they're rolling. They've won 2 in a row. They've won both impressively, both league games. They're going to run an offense that might be familiar to you. It's an option-based offense, much like Cal Poly and New Mexico did against New Mexico State. The guy that's pulling the trigger for them is the Conference Player of the Week, and he is very good.
I think he's going to be the best quarterback we've seen all year. Kevin Ellison, number 4. He's going to be the guy to watch and stop. The 6', 190-pound sophomore is fast. Last week, 6 for 10, 1 interception, 1 TD throwing the ball, 1 TD running the ball, and that's why he was the Player of the Week for Sun Belt Conference.
He mixes it up and does it both ways. Meanwhile, for New Mexico State, Larry Rose is still their leading rusher despite having missed the last couple of games. It's been a couple of guys from here in Las Cruces who've been able to pick up the slack.
Oh, yes, Xavier Hall. He's a dual threat, right? He's one of the 2 from Las Cruces that's going to really have to shine in order for us to get our passing game going. Got to get that running game going. Xavier Hall's got 3 TDs on the year. Look for him to get the ball and try to get in the end zone.
You're going to see Larry Rose back tonight. You'll see Xavier Hall. You'll also see Brandon Betancourt running the ball for New Mexico State. It's an important one for both teams, and we think it's going to be a good one. Georgia Southern and New Mexico State, a Sun Belt Conference game. It's here on Aggie Vision when we come back. Pink uniforms here on Tough Enough to Wear Pink Day in Las Cruces. Jeff Symbieta and Danny Nee, and here come the Eagles of Georgia Southern. Danny, first time these 2 teams have ever met on the football field. First time Georgia Southern has ever played a game in the land of enchantment, and the first time they've ever played a team from the state of New Mexico. A lot of firsts with conference realignment here in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, absolutely. And so hopefully we want to welcome them, but hopefully we'll send them with a loss.
Give a nice welcome, huh? Take a look at Danny Nee's keys to this game.
Well, here's what I think we have to really work on in order to get a win against a very tough Georgia Southern team. Eliminate the turnovers. Coach Martin talks about this during his press conferences. You got to limit the turnovers. You know, the turnovers, they equal momentum killers, and so you have to stop that in order to beat good teams. The second is there's a dual running threat. We talked about Allison in the open, but Breeden, the running back, he is very tough as well. It's a dual threat, and you got to shut down their run in order to be effective against Georgia Southern. The third one is offense. They need some long, sustained drives, so you can't get 3 and out. Defense, they got to do their job, but they got to have time to regroup on the sideline. So offense, get their long, sustained drives, use the clock, give the defense a break. The last one, it's a big one, and I think it's one that could be overlooked. Is that I like the matchup of Taldrick Morgan, receiver, against some of their DBs. You can use him as a decoy. You can use him as a primary receiver. He's going to be one of the guys I like to keep our eye on for this game.
One of the best playmakers certainly in the Sun Belt Conference. 2 coaches that really have done a good job with their respective clubs. There's to take a look at Willie Fritz, the head coach at Georgia Southern in his first season. People around the state of New Mexico and in the Southwest may recognize Willie Fritz, longtime coach at Sam Houston, where he built a tremendous program and did a great job there. Doug Martin in his 2nd season at New Mexico State, the former offensive coordinator, and now taking over the head coaching duties and doing a tremendous job. Got the Aggies out to a 2-0 start in a rough week last week that they'll just put behind them and move on. And here we go. New Mexico State will be the team that will receive, and Doug Martin's team will go on offense first. Game like this, you're coming home, you just went through the LSU stuff last week where you got beat 63-7. You want to get the ball first and just get your offense out of the field and get started?
I like that. I know a lot of people like to defer. Here's my thought, Jeff. If you can get the ball, get your offense to do something positive, and I think with that comes a confidence in the defense all of a sudden rises to the occasion and said, look, offense did their part, we can do our part. I like it. I like being able to be on offense first.
Youngway Koo will do the kickoffs for Georgia Southern. Marquette Washington and Morgan back to receive for New Mexico State. Marquette Washington is one of those guys, another freshman, and a lot of freshmen. You're going to see a lot of freshmen play for New Mexico State. One of those freshmen that Doug Martin's excited about and is trying to get a little bit more involved in what they're doing, both on the offense and obviously here on special teams. And so maybe you'll see a little bit of Washington as well in the running game as this game goes on. So New Mexico State in the pink, Georgia Southern in the white. Coos kick is on the way into the end zone, and it will be taken there by Teldrick Morgan. Morgan across the 10, across the 20, across the 30-yard line, right about the 30-yard line, just across it. And that's where New Mexico State will open up shop. Tyler Rogers is their quarterback, a sophomore from Peoria, Arizona Western Community College. And at times, Danny, he's looked great, and at times he's looked like a guy that's adjusting to this division and this level of play. Yeah,
and I think by coming to mid-season form, he should be starting to relax a little bit, so I really look for him to step up his game and really be a force in this competition today.
Aggies open up with an empty backfield, 5 wide receivers for Rogers. Quick to the near side. That is complete. Shapiro on the reception. A gain of about 9 yards out to the 38-yard line. Adam Shapiro from Rio Rancho, New Mexico on the reception.
And this quick tempo, I talked to Coach Fritz, and he said, I know they're going to come out and do this quick tempo, and we're just got to be ready for it, and I like the tempo.
Tried to give to Hall. Tucked it in and kept it to Rogers. I think he's going to get enough on that broken play to make a first down out of it.
I think so. It was kind of funny right there. He wasn't sure if he was going to hand it or if Hall just wanted to take it out of his hands, but they kind of just didn't decide there.
Enough for a first down, so Rogers runs for the first down. Up-tempo, no huddle for New Mexico State. That time he gives it to Hall. Xavier is met and buried by a slew of Georgia Southern defenders.
That kind of shows you the speed of Georgia Southern. This is a fast team, both offensively and defensively. Do you see how fast they work to the ball?
Lenny Richardson led the way, I think, for Georgia Southern. So here it is on 2nd and long. And again, it is Hall. And again, he is stopped. Bernard Dawson is in the backfield. A loss of 3. A nice play by Dawson. And it's going to set up 3rd down and long for New Mexico State. Call it 3rd down and 12 for the Aggies. Dawson coming in off the right end. Sophomore for Georgia Southern out of Thompson, Georgia. Aggies in a throwing situation now. Morgan's in the slot on the left side if you're looking for their playmaker. He's on the inside slot. Rogers looking at him. Tyler tucks it. He's got some room, but he wants to throw it, and he does. It's Shapiro, complete for New Mexico State. First down, the ball is out, and Georgia Southern's got it. Shapiro caught the ball, and the ball came out, and it looks like it was Valdon Cooper, I believe, who came up with it.
Looks like you have an Aggie down on that. We talked about turnovers, Jeff, in the open, right? We talked about in the keys the importance of having little to no turnovers. And these are the turnovers that kill us. So get a scramble, right? He finally finds Shapiro. Nice catch. But there, they just kind of manhandle him. There are 3 guys pulling him each direction. He just pulls it out of his hand.
Antonio Glover, the strong safety, is the guy it looked to me like was the guy who was able to make the hit and jar it loose. So Georgia Southern's going to take over first down at about the 40-yard line. Take a look at some of the impact players that we expect to be big in this game today. And Danny, I think it can go a lot of different ways, but boy, there's some guys that really can make a difference in this one.
Yeah, there certainly is. For Georgia Southern, Antoine Williams, he's a leading tackler with 31 tackles, and Edwin Jackson, also leading tackler with 31 tackles. Both those guys very tough, very quick. You saw how fast they were to the ball. Offensively, Brandon Bencourt, he's the other multi-threat run-pass running back that we'll have out of Mayfield. Teldrick Morgan, I like Teldrick Morgan. He's got to get him involved, either pull people, double coverage and use him as a decoy. Those are some of the impact players we're going to see today.
Andy Cunningham, the starting right guard, was the injured Aggie. He was helped off the field and putting no weight on it looks like his right leg. So we'll take a look at that and see how that goes. But meanwhile, Kevin Ellison and the Eagles set up as the Aggies give him good field position. It's at the 40-yard line. Breida, about 2 yards, and he is stopped there by Rodney Butler, who's tied for the team lead for New Mexico State in tackles, and the middle linebacker busting through. You're going to really like this Breida if you like guys who can run the football. Between Ellison and Breida, you got two studs for Georgia Southern.
They run this inside zone, Jeff. In this inside zone, it could be an option or it could be a give. Breida takes the ball on that inside option. That's a very tough play to stop, and Butler did a good job that last play.
Breida again, up the middle. Busts through one tackle. Now he's into the secondary, and he's brought down by Winston Rose, but not before he gains 14 yards and a first down across the 45 to the 44-yard line, and a first down for Georgia Southern.
The option, when they come out, and that looks like that inside option, inside zone read option. The first one that you really have to stop, you have to stop that run. After you stop that run, then you're going to look at the option there. But if you can't stop that, they'll just get away from the option and just run right up the middle all day long.
L.A. Ramsby is the back now for Georgia Southern. Ellison gives it to him. Off the right side, he runs into a bunch of Aggies, gets himself about 3, maybe 4 yards.
Last week against LSU, the defense, they scored some points. It was LSU, though, right, Jeff? So this week, though, we look for the Aggie defense. I thought, by the way, they played pretty good early on in the game. They were flying to the ball, a lot of stunts, a lot of different blitzes, and I look for them to do some of that today, to kind of pull out all stops defensively to stop them.
2nd and 7. Ellison with Ramsby in the backfield with him. Now he's going to throw. He does. Far side, and it is dropped. Pretty good throw, in fact, but it was dropped out there. Intended for Kentrellis Showers, who leads their team in touchdown receptions. He's a senior out of Dublin, Georgia. Pretty good throw by Ellison. He doesn't throw left. They throw about 22% of the time. More than most option teams do, and they do it pretty well when they do it.
That was Lewis Hill over there on coverage there. And I thought Lewis Hill, he tripped a little bit, Jeff. I think if he didn't trip, he could have broke on that ball, maybe picked that thing.
Devin Scott in the backfield now, along with Ellison for Georgia Southern. See if they throw it. They run the option to give it to Scott. Scott does not get the edge. Forced out of bounds there by a couple of Aggies. Butler is there along with J.B. Copeland. He's going to set up a 4th down and 5. You think Willie Fritz would punt, and he does. He brings out the punting unit.
When they run that option and they're stringing that option out laterally, I like that because they can run all day long sideline to sidelines. It means nothing. And as long as they do that, I think they're going to win the battle. It's when they plant, take it upfield, and break into the 2nd and 3rd level that works.
Ryan Nowicki is their punter. He's got a 42.3 yard per punt average. It's a high booming one. Keldrick Morgan back to receive, and that ball is right on the goal line, and it is a first down. They're going to call it at the goal line. Boy, that is a great play. That is a tremendous play there to down it by Darius Jones, and the Aggies are going to start just outside the shadow of their goal line. No score, 11:04 to go, first quarter, right here on Aggie Vision.
Football game is sponsored by the New Mexico Department of Agriculture, Danny Gamboa's Casa de Autos, and by Pioneer Bank.
Jeff Symbieta, Danny Nee back at Aggie Memorial Stadium. What a tremendous, tremendous special teams play by Darius Jones, the junior for Georgia Southern. And the Aggies are going to start literally just outside their own goal line. Xavier Hall is the running back, and Tyler's just going to try to push it out and get himself a little breathing room. Looks like he got it out to about the 3, maybe the 4-yard line. Tyler Rogers, the quarterback for New Mexico State. No score with 10:54 to go. We just got things started. Each team has had a possession. New Mexico State with the opening possession turned the ball over on a reception and then fumble. Georgia State then punted it back to the Aggies. Xavier Hall's got it for New Mexico State, and he runs into a bunch of big, gigantic guys. Lenny Richardson, one of them leading the charge for Georgia Southern, and it's going to be 3rd down and long for the Aggies.
It looks like on that offensive line there, they look a little mixed up on terms of who they're assigned to. This is, when they're starting to look at some of the zone blocking up front, I think the offensive line just got to communicate a little bit better there because he was just wide open, left him unblocked to get in there and make that tackle.
It looks like number 50, the offensive line's going to have to move around a little bit because of the injury to Cunningham, Danny, and that's going to be a big concern as we go on. Rogers thrown out of his own end zone. It is caught. Heck of a catch over the middle by Matthews. Joseph Matthews caught the ball behind him, and it's a first down for New Mexico State. That's a big play, so you don't give the ball right back to this offense so quickly.
That's a great catch right there. So we're going to go quick again. It was a little bit behind in the pass, so Matthews had to reach back. Great catch by Matthews.
Rose into the game for New Mexico State. Ball's out on the far side to Morgan. He gets himself out to about the 25-yard line. A gain of, call it 8. It'll be second down and 2 for the Aggies. So Larry Rose, number 12, the freshman running back into the game after missing a couple of weeks. There he is in motion on the right side of the quarterback, and Rogers keeps it. Rogers wants to throw, gets away from one tackler and gets himself a first down. Matt Dobson's up from the free safety position to make the tackle for Georgia Southern.
I like that play call, and I like the actual fake on that. So if you watch Tyler, he really took the ball and rode that fake all the way into the hole, which really made collapse on that defense and opened that around the corner where he could get that first down.
4 wides for the Aggies with Rose in the backfield. Rogers fakes it to him again. Flips it out near side. It is caught. That is Joshua Bowen. Bowen from Manzano High School in Albuquerque, out of bounds at the 36-yard line of Georgia Southern. And for Aggie fans say, no, that's not. Yes, it is. Josh Bowen normally wears number 6, but evidently his pink jersey got displaced, and there he is, number 2, makes a nice play.
Joshua Bowen runs this little out and up route and just snuck in behind the defensive back, and it was just wide open.
There's Larry Rose. Rose's first carry in about 3 weeks gets about 4 yards out to the 31-yard line. And the Aggies have a nice drive going. They had a good drive going on the first drive.
Yep.
Until
we had a
they turned it over.
Turnover, right. I like the line. That line's firing off, getting good penetration out on the defensive line, and that's going to help.
Flip it on the far side. That's Bowen again, and it's a heck of a play coming up to make the tackle by number 16, Antonio Glover, who's already had a big game. Glover forced the fumble on the first drive and makes a big tackle there.
If he doesn't pull a shoestring and trip on that, I think he gets around the corner and gets a few yards in there.
3rd down and 7 for New Mexico State. They need the 25-yard line for a first down. Aggies go 5 wides again. Rogers looks. Morgan's got it. He breaks one tackle. Now he's got some room. Keldrick Morgan's to the 20-yard line. Keldrick Morgan is pushed out of bounds at the 12-yard line for a New Mexico State first down.
With Keys, part of our keys is to try to get him involved. I think this is why you want him involved. He just doesn't fall down. There's a couple of defenders from Georgia Southern run into each other. Yeah, okay, so what? You still have to make a big play of it, and he did just that.
Deion Stanley pushed him out of bounds. That's Brian Betancourt with the fake. Rogers keeps it. Tyler gets himself down to the 7-yard line. Give him 4 yards on the first down play. Tyler Rogers running the option.
Yeah,
we expected to see it the other side.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, did you see Brandon Betancourt? See how open that was on that side? Or Xavier Hall was back there.
3 wides to the right. Betancourt's the back. He gets it this time, and he's going to walk into the end zone for a New Mexico State touchdown. 8 yards. Touchdown, Brandon Betancourt. The Aggies are on the board. That was Hall?
It was
That
Hall.
was Hall. I was
That was
looking at Xavier Hall. Xavier Hall for the touchdown, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season.
Xavier Hall, he's going to be named the touchdown maker. He's got 4 on the year for him, and nice little give in there. Xavier Hall, he kind of just a little scat back in there. Not sure that anyone even saw that he had the ball, and he just snuck right into the end zone.
Maxwell Johnson on for the extra point. So Xavier Hall, the guy you featured in the pregame with the touchdown, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year. Maxwell Johnson adds the extra point. Hey, Danny, that drive started on the 1-yard line, and I think that was kind. 99 yards in 11 plays at 3 minutes and 19 seconds. We got 7:45 to go, first quarter. The Aggies over the Eagles, 7-0. I think New Mexico State, Georgia Southern's going to get the ball back. Jeff Spietta, Danny Nee, and when the Eagles have the ball, look for these guys, huh?
Well, Derek Abikwe and Rodney Butler both tied with number 1 tacklers on the Aggies, 52 tackles each. Those guys have been everywhere, and they're going to be called on a lot. Matt Breida, running back, we saw him already. Kentralis Showers, if they get down a little bit, will they throw the ball a little bit more, Jeff? Maybe he's the guy.
Monte Crockett and Derek Keaton back to receive for Georgia Southern. Aggies just went 99 yards. After that great special teams play, I'm literally just outside. You can't get any closer. 99 yards. Xavier Hall cashed the check. An 8-yard touchdown run for Xavier Hall, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And just what a confidence drive for New Mexico State.
State Farm kickoff is brought to you by La Mesa State Farm agent Olivia Carter.
That's Crockett. Crockett gets out to the 18 where he is greeted by a bunch of Aggies, and that's where Georgia Southern will set up shop for their second possession at the Georgia Southern 18-yard line.
You know, Jeff, the kickoff is an important part of this game, and we've had other games where we pooched the kick a little bit and we weren't sure and we're trying to kick it in the hole. I like it that says kick it deep, cover the dang football, and that's what we did. Lots of aggressive play out there on that kickoff. Maybe that's what happens when you score, right? You get a score, it's like, hey, look, check us out.
You feel good about yourself,
yeah, you
right?
feel good, and you say, oh, do anything.
You're an 18.5-point underdog, and you got a 7-point lead. You feel good about yourself. Kevin Ellison's the running back, or the quarterback. Matt Breida, the guy who was Conference Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, is the back behind Ellison. Ellison's going to throw. It is caught out of bounds. That is Johnson, B.J. Johnson. Gets about 8 yards, pushed out of bounds at 24-yard line. Good 7 yards on the play. First completion for Kevin Ellison.
You know, back over there, that's Lewis Hill again on that side. You know, Lewis Hill, he's a little off a little bit there, but I think if they keep throwing that thing, Lewis Hill might just jump one of those and take it to the house.
Ellison is the quarterback. Keeps it, throws it again. It is caught by Johnson again. Ball was behind him. Incomplete. Incomplete. Thought he made a great play going behind him.
Yeah, the ball was a little bit behind him there, and I did think he kind of reached back there. I kind of liked it, it's taking him out of the zone read offense and making him throw the ball a little bit more. And it could be, too, early on, the coaches are still trying to figure out, Georgia Southern coaches trying to figure out, what are we going to do? What do we have? Do we have a matchup on the outside there, one-on-one?
Now, it's what they do best is run. It's going to be third down and about 3. They need to get to the 27-yard line. Ellison barking the signals, back to throw again. Now he's going to keep it. It's a designed run, and it is not going to work. Dalton Harrington comes up from the outside linebacker position. He wasn't fooled, and he's able to drop the quarterback for a loss, and here comes the punting team.
And J.B. Copeland was also in on that. You know, when I talked to one of the coaches at the beginning of this week, I was talking about the pressure on this, and he said, certainly this quarterback will not go down with one arm tackle. Here we have 2 guys storming in there. I like it. I like when you have to stunt and go get them.
Keldrick Morgan's back to receive for New Mexico State. Nowicki for his second punt of the day. Morgan standing back at the 35-yard line. Aggies were coming. They were close. Morgan said, get away, as the ball takes a New Mexico State hop and is down about the 45-yard line of New Mexico State. And that's where Tyler Rogers and the Aggies are going to take over with a 7-0 lead. We got 6:21 to go. First quarter here in Las Cruces of a Sun Belt Conference game. New Mexico State leads Georgia Southern 7-0 here on Aggie Vision. Symbieta Danny Nee back at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Glad you're with us on Aggie Vision tonight. A Sun Belt Conference game between 2 teams who get to lose in conference play. New Mexico State 1-0 in Sun Belt play. Georgia Southern brings a 2-0 conference record in. Aggies on top 7-0. Xavier Hall capped a 99-yard New Mexico State drive with an 8-yard touchdown, and that guy right there is having a pretty good day so far, Tyler Rogers.
You know, Tyler Rogers, he was he's 7 for 7, 106 yards today already. So, yes, coming off the LSU game, looked a little shaky at times, but now he's looking very good out there, Jeff. And, we talked about playing 4 quarters. It starts at the first, and you got to play solid through that first quarter.
It was question mark, how would Rogers and the Aggies respond to the LSU game, and would they be shell-shocked a little bit, or would they come back and maybe like a baseball player, a batter, with a donut on deck circle, you swing the bat a little like it, or maybe this game will slow down for them a little bit. Nothing against Georgia Southern at all. They're a good football team. They're just not LSU, and it's a different thing when they went into the SEC last week. Rogers throwing over the middle. It is caught by Matthews, complete at the 45-yard line, right on the marker. Looks like it's going to be a first down, 10 yards for Rogers to Matthews, and it is. They'll move the sticks.
I like just Joseph Matthews. The 6'2", 203-pounder is really a big target out there for Tyler.
Tyler looks to throw again. It's a quarterback draw right up the middle with a ton of room. Rogers across the 30-yard line to about the 29. Another first down. Robert Bryce came up from the safety position to make the tackle. Rogers is doing it with his legs and with his feet.
Design play. QB draw right up the middle here. Fake. They come outside. Look at that wide open in there. That was just like reminiscent of LSU where where Allen took the ball 79 yards. I like the finish on that play, too. He didn't slide. He tried to get as many yards as possible.
Rogers going to throw again. Look at the near side on the wheel route. He is going to almost be picked off. Steve Williams came up from the free safety position and had it hit him in both hands. He was looking at Brandon Betancourt the whole way, and it was Williams who almost destroyed that play.
You know, he needed to look off that pass just a little bit longer because he was sitting back there just licking his chops ready to grab that thing.
If he threw it earlier, I think he had him too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So now it's going to be second down. That is Brandon Betancourt. His carry out to about 4 yards to the 26, and I apologize. The numbers popping off those pink uniforms. I'm gonna get used to that. The 22 to the 21, but Betancourt for about 4 yards. So here's a third down play for the Aggies. They need to get to the 20-yard line for a first down.
I like the pace. I like how fast they're going.
Tyler rolling, throws. It is caught. First down and a little bit more. That is going to be Jarrell Brown, his first catch of the day. That brings it inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Look at Tyler spreading the ball all around the place here. I like it. Throwing on the run, looking very sharp. Nice little out route by Jarrell and just picks it right on the sidelines.
Fake to Larry Rose. Tyler keeps it again, and he is dropped. Got a couple of yards before DeShante Gallen came in to drop him. He gets about 3 yards to, call it the 12. Give him 2 yards. It'll be second down and 8.
Looks like Houston Clemente kind of missed his block there. Those are those ones that show up brightly on the film, too.
Larry Rose, the freshman running back, is then off of Tyler Rogers' left hip. Rose has it. Right side. Rose across the 10. Get dragged down at the 10. A couple of yards for Larry Rose. It's going to be third down and a short 6 or a long 5, however you want to look at it. They got to get inside the 5 for a first down. As New Mexico State's offense thus far has looked very, very impressive.
Moving the ball, they keep long, sustained drives. We talked about that and how important that is for the defense to get off and have some time to rest. Great drive here.
Third down and 6. Tyler's going to throw. Pumps, throws, it is complete. Jarrell Brown again at the 3-yard line and a first down for New Mexico State.
Now
now it's first and goal.
That's a great catch right there where Jarrell had to get down low and pull that thing in.
Larry Rose is going to walk in for a New Mexico State touchdown. Larry Rose from 3 yards out, his second rushing touchdown of the season, his third touchdown scored for the true freshman who didn't play the last couple of weeks because of a knee injury. The Aggies are in the end zone again. It is 13-0 New Mexico State.
Yeah, this is another long drive, 2 long drives. You get Larry Rose the ball running to the outside. No one's going to catch him. He knew that all the way. I like it. The confidence is really showing out there for the Ags.
Maxwell Johnson in to attempt the extra point for New Mexico State, who just went 55 yards in 9 plays and 245. And, it went for the turnover. Now, you shouldn't say that, but the turnover was actually off of a play that worked. It was a heck of a play that Adam Shapiro fumbled. All right, well, who are the Georgia Southern University Eagles? You should know the foe here on Aggie Vision. They are located in Statesboro, Georgia. Founding legislation was signed back in 1906. They got an enrollment of about 20,000, 19,173. Dr. Brooks Keel is their president. Of course, as you've seen, their colors are blue and white. The first year in the Sun Belt Conference, and they got some famous alumni as well. Luke Bryan, country music singer. Do you know that?
Yeah, how about that? Did not know that.
How about Jerick McKinnon of the Vikings has been one of the big names in fantasy football this year. He's been having a really good, almost breakout season for the Minnesota Vikings so far. All right, the Aggies are going to kick, and it's a 14-0 New Mexico State lead, and I think maybe some people might be surprised when they look at the score. If you're into those sort of things, Danny, the Aggies were not favored to win this game. In fact, there were a lot of people saying, boy, I hear Georgia Southern is very good. Are they 18.5 points better than New Mexico State?
Well, here's the thing. So part of it is look at the drive summary. You got 9 plays, 55 yards, 245, and the pace of what they're doing is really catching Georgia Southern off guard, I think. I think there's a little disarray on that side over there.
Derek Keaton and Monte Crockett back to receive for Georgia Southern. That is going to be, Keaton takes it at the 2. Keaton's across the 20. Keaton's across the 30. Keaton is dragged down from behind on a saving tackle. And the Georgia Southern Eagles have very good field position to start their third possession. They'll open up at the 42-yard line. I believe that was Lewis Hill who dragged it down from behind. And so Eagles are in good field position
29.
as they come out for their third possession.
You know, Jeff, the thing about the three pieces of the game, the offense, defense, special teams, this is the special teams piece is the one that I really want us to start improving on more and more. Giving the ball, having it show up where you're going to get the ball at the 40 is not a way to start from a defensive standpoint.
Quarterback for the Eagles.
Ellison on the give, up the middle for a few.
Matt Breida.
Breida on the carry. Breida is a load. 8 touchdowns already this season. He averages 9.4 yards per carry, Danny. That is a very, very lofty yards per carry.
Yeah, he's tough. You know, we talked about on the keys that there are the two running threats. There's Ellison we talked about in the open, but Breida also, you have to shut him down.
And Ellison just went out. Fabian Upshaw is in at quarterback, number 13 for Georgia Southern. He gives it to Breida up the middle. Breida's dragged down at about the 48-yard line. Gain of a few. And that's going to set up a third down at about 4 for Georgia Southern. So that was a big way on the tackle for New Mexico State.
So Jeff, do you think coaches over there on Georgia Southern side saying, hey, look, let's start throwing the ball and trying to do all these fancy stuff. We kind of outweigh them on the line a little bit. Let's just get up there and do 4 yards in a cloud of dust and push the ball upfield.
Third down and 3 for Georgia Southern. Upshaw's their quarterback. He gives it to Breida off the right side. He's got a first down and a bunch more. He's going to get out over the 45-yard line for the first down. Winston Rose there to trip him up. I'm looking over to the Georgia Southern bench, and I don't know if I see Kevin Ellison anywhere getting treatment or if this was just a change of pace.
Could be a change of pace to try to get something back in there, right? And so, again, I think part of the strategy is, do we really want to sit back there and have them start throwing the ball around, and Georgia Southern is just saying, let's just stand up there, go nose to nose, push them back, shove the ball down their throat.
All right, so Ellison stays in at quarterback. Gives it to L.A. Ransby. Ransby rams his way through the hole over Harrington. Gain of about 14 and a first down for L.A. Ransby, who's a load himself. He's scored 3 times this year.
Ransby had a nice little move there. Looks like a little Heisman stepper at the end there, didn't it? That kind of one leg went up as he stepped over him.
Well, and there's Dalton Harrington, you saw, number 31 for New Mexico State, got in the way and was able, he gets credit for the tackle. Fabian Upshaw, the number 2 quarterback, is running things for Georgia Southern. He's going to throw, or at least he thought he was going to throw. Now he's going to tuck it and run. And he's going to run through the middle of an Aggie defense and get himself about 7 yards on what looked like a broken play.
Well, it certainly was going to throw the ball out here on a quick little out. There was nothing to be had there, and Coach Goyer was bringing the Aggie defense, and so I like that. I like being able to put pressure on this guy, not sit back and let him say, hey, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Go get him.
Second down and 3 for Georgia Southern. They call a timeout. Well, the Aggie defense thus far, Danny, 14 minutes into the game, has looked very good. And, Kabe Johnson, do you know, is tied for first place in the nation with 3 forced fumbles.
Well,
there he is, and he's the guy who's down.
And he had a heck of a first quarter at Louisiana State. He went in there and he was putting his helmet on the ball, causing fumbles. Just doing what he should be doing at a free safety spot there.
Now, that's a big, big loss for New Mexico State if he cannot get up. And he has been tremendous. He's a sophomore from Kahuku, Hawaii, and he led the team with 12 tackles last year. He forced last week. He forced 2 fumbles.
And he's averaging 10.2 tackle a game, so you got to have that guy in there to really help that defense.
Yeah, and there's what happened, if you can see it a little bit. Second straight game, by the way, last week, where he had 12 tackles, and it's the 3rd time this season he's been in double digits, so he's been huge for New Mexico State. Meanwhile, it's second down and 3 now for Georgia Southern. The quarterback remains number 13, Fabian Upshaw. Breida's in behind him. They've had success running, so they give it to him again. Dalton Harrington was in there to grab his feet from behind and keep him from going much further. He might have gained a yard, and it's going to be another 3rd down for Georgia Southern.
Coach Coyer was going there. He was bringing the guys off the edge there. You're in man coverage. That's the whole thing about blitzing and stunting. It leaves you in man coverage, so you got to know that your DBs, you're out there, you got to take your guy. You're on an island, but you have to cover because you got to put pressure on them. Don't let them just impose their will by running on you.
I'm going to tell you, I think this is 4-down territory for Georgia Southern if they don't get it. Let's see what they do. They give it to Breed up the gut. They got it.
Oh, they pull the ball out.
Well, New Mexico State came out with a football and they got it.
How about that? Looked like someone just reached in there and yanked the ball right out of there as he was getting in the middle.
So the Aggies just took it away from him. It was Jacob Nwanga who came out of the pile with the football, and he's the guy saying, that's right, it's our football. So a turnover by Georgia Southern on 3rd down. Breida goes in, and Nwanga comes out with the football.
You know, sometimes it's just you got to be in the right spot at the right time, but part of that is you got to get in there and start yanking at the ball, and it just bounces into Aggie's hand. We could stand a break or two. That's a break. Now you got to do something with that break.
Kalei Aulea is the guy who forced the fumble. He's the one who ripped the ball out of Breida's hand. Nwanga came up with the fumble, and New Mexico State's got the football. 1st down and 10 at the 23-yard line. A big break for the Aggies as Georgia Southern was really starting to get the offense moving. That was their best drive by far, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Rose in the backfield. Rose gets it, dances to the outside, back to the inside where he is wrapped up. A gain of about 3. Bernard Dawson was there, and that will be the end of the first quarter. A good first quarter for New Mexico State. They'll have the ball when we come back. We have played 1 quarter here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. In a Sun Belt Conference game, New Mexico State leads Georgia Southern by the score of 14-0 here on Aggie Vision. The second quarter here in Las Cruces, Doug Martin's New Mexico State Aggies on top of the Georgia Southern Eagles, 14-0, and the Aggies have the football. 2nd down and about 6 for New Mexico State. They scored on a Xavier Hall 8-yard touchdown run and then a 3-yard touchdown run by Larry Rose. Rogers going to throw far side, complete. That is Brown, and that is a 1st down for New Mexico State. Rogers has been very, very good so far, Danny Nee.
He has, and you know he's sprayed the ball all around. Got Jarrell Brown out there making big plays. I like the strategy though, Jeff. Spread the ball out. Don't keep any backs in there, so you're making your linebackers go out, and you have to play honest and play pass.
5 wide again for the Aggies on a 1st down. Rogers has time, throws over the middle. It is caught. That is Bowen for a 1st down. New Mexico State, his 3rd catch of the day. And the Aggies are in Georgia Southern territory at the 43-yard line.
I like a little post route, in their little skinny post route. Josh Bowen breaks in the open. He was wide open on that.
Come the near side. That is complete. Morgan dances away from one tackler, dances away from another until he is finally dragged down. Another big play for New Mexico State. Looks like it's just about 10 yards. It is, and that will move the chains. Ryan George came in from defensive end all the way in the backfield to make the tackle for Georgia Southern. Aggies are going at a quick pace now.
Like the tempo.
That's Larry Rose, the freshman, up the middle. He gets about 4, just lowered his head and ran into a bunch of guys.
On the carry.
Not sure who they're going to credit with the tackle, but Brian George was there again. So a gain of 3 on 1st down for Rose and the Aggies. Betancourt is now in the backfield, the running back for New Mexico State. Rogers flips the near side, and that is a heck of a play there by number 21 for Georgia Southern. That is Nick Wright, the cornerback, blew that play up.
How about and Joseph Matthews out there trying to get that block? I think Coach Littlejohn might have a little word with Joseph Matthews there. He just reached right over top of him and pulled down Josh Bowen, didn't he?
3rd down and 10, he absolutely did. 3rd down and 10 for the Aggies. They need the 23-yard line to keep this drive alive with a 1st down. Rogers looking deep for Matthews. It is incomplete. He tried to bring it in with one hand, unable to bring it in. That was right with good coverage on Matthews, and it'll be 4th down and 10 for New Mexico State. They're bringing out the punting team.
You know, that was good coverage in there. He dropped that ball right down the chimney there, and he almost pulled that thing in one-handed. Almost there.
Bringing out the field goal team. That's a 51-yard field goal attempt that they're going to try with Maxwell Johnson.
And there you see the pass right there. One hand, almost got it. Almost there.
Johnson trying a 51-yard. That's a fake. It's a fake, and they pitch to Johnson. Johnson's got a little bit of room, but he's going to be knocked out of bounds short of the 1st down. It's going to turn over on downs.
Johnson on the carry. Short of the 1st
Heck of a play coming up there to blow it up by Matt Dobson for Georgia Southern. It was a long conversion. It was 4th and 10. And so Georgia Southern's going to take over at about the 30-yard line. We're going to take a break. 13 minutes and 8 seconds to go. Second quarter in Las Cruces. Aggies over the Eagles by a score of 14-0 on Aggie Vision. Back at Aggie Memorial Stadium, the pink-clad New Mexico State Aggies have a 14-0 lead over Georgia Southern. We've got 13:08 to go, second quarter. Aggies pitching a shutout so far. You don't think about the Aggies at the top of defensive stats, but did you know they're the only team in the nation with 3 players in the top 15 tackles so far? Rodney Butler and Derek Ibekwe tied for 11th coming into the week with 52, and Kaveh Johnson tied for 15th with 51 tackles. And so far, they've all played pretty well against Georgia Southern, but it's still very early. Staying with Fabian Upshaw as the quarterback, and we still don't have a report on Kevin Ellison.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He gives it to Breida. He gets around the corner and is pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Ibekwe is there to lead the charge for New Mexico State defensively. Gain of 5. Trayvon Caldwell was also there for New Mexico State, so a gain of 5 for the Georgia Southern Eagles.
Yeah, and Dalton Harrington's over there. He had to get rid of that block to get to that tackle. Got to shed those blockers a little better.
So Fabian Upshaw came in. He's a sophomore, big kid, 6'1", $170, out of Titusville, Florida. He's running the Georgia Southern offense now. Breida's behind him. Second down and 5. It's the option play. Turns back in, and he's got nowhere to go.
Let me tell you, Jeff, the option is a great play to get caught out of position, but your pursuit angles are very, very important. On that play, the Aggies had great pursuit angles, and the reason you can tell is if a quarterback stops and wants, or running back stops and wants to cut back against the grain, if everyone's in position, you have no cutback. There was no cutback there. There was good pursuit angles by the Aggies.
Kalea Ulea was the guy that was there, the sophomore from Hawaii for New Mexico State, so it's 3rd down and 7. Upshaw is the quarterback. Ramsby is his setback. He's going to go straight back to throw and get flushed out of the pocket. Gets it, tackled, and it is a sack, and it is one heck of a big play by J.B. Copeland, who came in from the outside linebacker position. How about that tackle?
That's awesome. You know, he's bringing both. He was crashing both ends on that last play, and I've noticed that Coach Coyer is starting to bring more pressure on him. So now we got to change a quarterback for whatever reason, but they're not going to get that quarterback get a little comfortable in there. And there he is giving a little talk, but you know, if you put a little pressure on him, and we just brought both ends just crashing down, Copeland was able to get to the quarterback.
Sacked by Copeland, his first of the season. Another punt, the 3rd of the day from Nowicki. Morgan back for New Mexico State at his own 40-yard line. He'll field it at the 41. Get away from one tackle. If he can get outside, he's got some room. He's got some room to the outside. Keldrick Morgan's got some room across the 40 to the 35 to the 31-yard line of Georgia Southern. The ball came out, but I believe he was ruled to be down. Georgia Southern says we've got it. We've got a player down for New Mexico State.
I think the side judge there was waving his hand saying, no, the play's dead.
Yeah, I think it came out when he hit the ground. So a heck of a return by Keldrick Morgan. That
was fantastic, and that's what you get with him. He's a big play guy. You know, you shake one player, and you just cause something to happen out there. You get everyone out of position, and you just break it. That's those broken field plays are tough.
38-yard punt, 33-yard return from Morgan. 30-yard line, the Aggies have tremendous field position. Larry Rose is the running back with Tyler Rogers, who's off to a heck of a start. The Aggies have a 14-0 lead looking to add to it. 10 minutes, 52 seconds to go. Early second quarter. Rose, left side with some blockers in front of him. Rose to the 22-yard line where he's finally dragged down. Matt Dobson had him around the ankles, and then a couple of his buddies in white shirts came to clean it up.
You know, Larry Rose, he's a shifty little guy in there. You see him spinning around, still fighting for every yard he can get. I guess that's why he's the number 1 carrier for the Aggies.
Rose has it again around the outside. He gets the corner dragged down about a yard short of the first down. Rashad Williams, the defensive end, the big senior out of Roswell, Georgia, was there to make the stop, and it's going to be 3rd down and 1 now for the Aggies. 4 down territory here, you think?
I think you get 3.
Well, we're going to find out because Larry Rose tripped before he got to the hole, and so he lost a yard. And now it's going to be. You know what? If it was 4th and 1, I think they maybe go for it. But it's 4th and 3, and they're going to bring on the field goal.
You know, that's too bad, Jeff, because I think he had that first down too. He was trying to plant that one foot and it just kind of slipped out from underneath him.
Well, this is a more manageable attempt. This one's 41 yards. Maxwell Johnson on for the attempt for New Mexico State. I think he had a hold there too.
Yeah.
And he slipped on the turf monster, got it. And there's going to be another 5 yards tacked down to this field goal try, which barely got there. Maybe you think he eased up because he heard the whistle?
Yeah, I think so.
So the offensive line moved for New Mexico State. The call, I believe what they say, did you get the call? I think it was 65.
I didn't, but I have to tell you, we talk about special teams being such a huge part of what we're trying to create here at New Mexico State, where if you want to beat and take down a good team, you cannot fall apart on all three aspects. And
they're going to go for it.
And yeah, well, certainly those 5 yards made a big difference.
Yeah. Ryan Arvelez was the guy who was called for the he's big number 65, and he's been pressed into duty at the right guard position because of the injury to Andy Cunningham early in the game. So the Aggies need the 20-yard line, and it is a 4th down, and Rogers back to throw. He is incomplete. It was tipped twice. Shapiro was the intended receiver. And it's going to be a turnover on downs. It was Deion Stanley defending for Georgia Southern. The Aggies turn it over on downs for the 2nd time. We're going to take a break. 9:14 to go. We're in the 2nd quarter. Georgia Southern will have the ball when we get back. New Mexico State leads Georgia Southern 14-0 on Aggie. Its partners mean some new rivalries, buddy. Maybe it's the first time both of these teams have ever met each other. First year for both the Aggies and the Eagles in the Sun Belt Conference, and the first time they've ever played, for the first time Georgia Southern has ever played a game here in the Land of Enchantment or against a team from New Mexico. They find themselves down 14-0. They bring back their starting quarterback, Kevin Ellison. Ellison played the first couple of series. The last 2 series have been Fabian Upshaw, but they go back to Ellison. Ramsby's the back behind him. Gives it to Ramsby. Ramsby gets outside and he's got some room. Ramsby's loose. L.A. Ramsby is across the 40. He's across the 30 and pushed out of bounds at the 22 by Dalton Harrington. A big run by L.A. Ramsby, certainly the biggest play of the day for Georgia Southern.
He get out around the ends there, and that's the trouble. Once you get around the end and you turn it upfield, it really makes it tough. Yeah, I talked to Coach Zane Vance earlier in the week, and he said the big key to our defense is how our ends, how the edges are going to play. In that case, it got around the edge on us and took it for a long run.
Long run is right. That play went for 46 yards, certainly the biggest play of the day for Georgia Southern. So now this is the best field position. They're at the 25-yard line. No word on why Ellison was out for those 2 series, and maybe Willie wanted to mix things up a little bit and give Fabian Upshaw some looks. But so far, this is now the 5th possession for Georgia Southern, and they've had a turnover and 3 punts. So they bring back their starting quarterback and the conference player of the week in Kevin Ellison. Ellison going to run the option near side. Ellison runs into Ibikwe at about the line of scrimmage. Wow. And he got nowhere. Derek Ibikwe with a heck of a read from the outside linebacker position.
Derek spied him the whole time, and no one picked up Derek, and Derek shot right through the line. They teach linebackers tackle downhill, and he did just that. So you can see right at the end here, he turns, he comes upfield, comes boom right there downfield. Nice tackle by Derek.
Might have gained a half a yard. It's 2nd down and 10, essentially. Maybe 2nd down and 9 if you like it better, depending which side you're on. Fake to Breida, and Ellison's going to throw. Looks, throws over the middle, looking for Showers with his underthrown into double coverage. Incomplete. He was looking for Kentrellis Showers, and now it's going to be 3rd down and long for Georgia Southern.
There wasn't nothing there. That wasn't going to happen, and so that pass, if he threw it a little bit farther to try to get to him, I think it had a chance to be picked. So I don't think their passing has quite opened up as much as they need to yet.
3rd down conversion on the season, Georgia Southern's 47%. This is a long one for them. They need to get to the Aggie 15-yard line. Breida's the back. Ellison is going to keep it. Come to the near side, and he is going to be about 2 yards short of the 1st down. A couple guys lose their hat.
Ellison on the keeper.
And now Willie Fritz is going to have a decision to make.
You try to spread things out. So what Georgia Southern is looking to do here is spread things out and put Allison in space and let him make a play. And that's exactly what he tried to do there.
So they're going to go for it on 4th down and 3. And a big play in this football game early with about 7.5 minutes to go. He's got Ramsby as the back leading the charge. Ellison on the keeper. He pitches first down and a few more. Pitches it out to, I believe it's at 28, right? Looks like Devin Scott. Now that's who it is. Devin Scott, the running back who came in. That's his first carry of the game. You brought in L.A. Ramsby as a lead blocker on that, on the option play to the right side, and it was well run by Ellison, who's now got a first down at the 13, and Georgia Southern is threatening.
You know, you just string that play all the way out to the side, but right at the end there, we ran out of defenders in that pitch. No one was on the pitch.
Ramsby's the running back with Ellison. He gives it to him. Ramsby dances inside, dances down to about the 6-yard line. A gain of, I think, 6, where it'll be a nice gain on first down. Second down for Georgia Southern, now inside the 10-yard line.
You know, Ramsby's running very hard in there. You know, you just got one arm's not bringing him down. He's just pumping, getting as many yards as he can.
He's scored 3 times already this season. Averaged about 3.3 yards a carry. He had the big one for 46 earlier. He's got 4 carries now for 68 yards. Of course, the big one is a big chunk of that. Breeda's in. He gets it right up the middle, and he runs into, nope, that's a touchdown. I followed Breida all the way, and Ellison kept the football. You know, Ellison's in for a touchdown.
That was a nice little fake in there. Came out in that pistol formation with 2 guys deep, and then rode that dive in there nice and long, and just made everyone collapse. There was no one around the end. Took the ball around there. Jeff, they're an absolutely different offense when Ellison gets back in there, right?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. An 8-yard touchdown run by Kevin Ellison, and the extra point pending. It'll be a 14-7 game, and that was a heck of a play.
Alex Hanks.
He put the ball all the way into the extra point's blocked. The extra point is blocked by New Mexico State. 71 yards, Georgia Southern just went. It took him 3 minutes and 2 seconds and 7 plays to go the 71 yards. You know, he put the ball all the way in Breida's gut, and I followed him all the way in the middle. Heck of a play by Ellison. We've got 6 minutes and 12 seconds to go, and Georgia Southern's on the board here in the first half. New Mexico State leads the Eagles 14-6 here on Aggie Vision. 14-6, New Mexico State leads Georgia Southern. Jeff Sabiana, Danny Nee here on Aggie Vision at Aggie Memorial Stadium, and it was a pretty nice drive for Georgia Southern. They needed that as they brought Ellison back in the game. They looked different with him in the game.
Oh, they're absolutely different team. I'm not sure why he was out, but once he was in there, that was that spark that really got that long drive going there. Now that block extra point, that could be big down the road here.
You know what was also big, and you mentioned it, was the 5-yard motion penalty as the Aggies were trying to kick a field goal. It pushed them back to where Doug Martin didn't feel comfortable with trying the field goal. And instead of trying to get the 3, the Aggies went for it on 4th down and long, came up short and turned the ball over. They didn't get 3, and they gave up 6 the other way.
Yeah, that was another key play. You're right, Jeff.
Marquette Washington and Keldrick Morgan back to receive for New Mexico State. It's going to be Morgan who's going to take it about 7 yards deep in the end zone and stay right there. So the Aggies will open up at the 25-yard line on a touchdown. New Mexico State's offense. Well, first off, their defense. And I'm looking at some of the numbers. You know, this is the number 1. Georgia Southern is the number 1 offense in the Sun Belt, averaging over 513 yards a game. And so far, they've only got 124 yards. So the Aggie defense has played well. Offensively, New Mexico State's 239 yards, and the guy who's been really good is your quarterback, and you're looking at him as Tyler Rogers.
Yeah, he's done a great job. You know, and Georgia Southern has put up some big points in the first quarter, and Aggies really did well holding them.
Big drive, I think, for the Aggies now to sustain this. 5 wides for New Mexico State. Tyler looks this way, gets it to Morgan. Morgan's across the 30. Morgan's out near the 35-yard line, a gain of about 9. Glover pushed him out of bounds. That's Antonio Glover, the strong safety who came up. A gain of about 8, call it. It'll be 2nd down and 2 to the Aggies.
You know, that play only works when you have the other wide receiver that's blocking out there. We got a good block on that play.
2nd down 2. Bettencourt left side. 1st down and more. Bettencourt's loose about 49-yard line. A big gain for Brandon Bettencourt. Steve Williams there for Georgia Southern to bring him down. Just right about midfield, and a big gainer for New Mexico State. 17 yards, call it 16 yards.
You know, I'm not even sure how he snuck through there, but part of that is it's just quick and fast in there. So Bettencourt just kind of pours it in there really fast. Got in the second level in a hurry.
16 yards on the play for Brandon Betancourt. Tyler wants to throw on first down again. He does. He throws into double coverage and he gets knocked away. Dangerous pass looking for Morgan.
You know, part of what we talked about this a little bit before the game, Jeff, is that Tyler sometimes he gets fixed on a receiver.
Yes.
And if you get locked on a receiver, your safeties are gonna see that all day long and gonna wait until you throw the ball and then step in front and get an easy pick.
Saw it earlier on the wheel route, coming down to from our right to our left earlier in the game, almost got an interception. Now Tyler's looking. He throws and it's intercepted. It is intercepted, and it is a lot of green grass in front. Rogers makes the tackle, but it's intercepted by Deshante Gallen, the middle linebacker, and it's kind of what you were just talking about, huh?
Yeah, you know, he did look it off a little bit, but then he quickly came back and it started to form, and he just looked at the whole way, and it got away from him just a bit, just a little high on the pass. And, yeah, that's tough to throw a pick down here where you really need to use the clock in the second quarter.
There's Gallen, the guy they call Ironhead, makes the interception, his first of the season. Ironhead, but he does not have iron hands. Pretty good hands right there.
Check
and they
you out.
set him up at the 23-yard line. And here comes Georgia Southern. You don't want to give this offense, if you're New Mexico State, you don't want to give this offense field position like this. And they're rolling. Ellison's back in a quarterback. He scored the touchdown on the last series. Gives it to Breed off the right side. He's got some room, about 5 yards.
You know, part of Jeff, what they look like they're also doing on the offense now is they're bringing an extra running back in the backfield. So if you do come off the edges like New Mexico State's been doing, you can get picked off in a hurry, just like that.
Again, Gibbs made the stop last time.
Reno once again.
This time he gets to the 15-yard line. They're going to be 2 yards short. I'm going to tell you again, I think this is 4-down territory.
Yeah.
So, 4th down and 2.
Third down.
3rd down and 2. 3rd down and 2 for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, and you look at that offense, and it is, they take a tight end. They take Jeff Ford, 96, and they're putting him in the backfield as an extra blocker, and it's really paid off.
4:31, the Eagles trying to cash in on the turnover. Keeper, Ellison. Just short, I think. If I look at where the official is spotting it, I think he's going to spot him, but they're probably going to measure this. Just short, I think.
That's J.P. Copeland out there again, and when I talked to Coach Felix from Georgia Southern, you know, he said, you know, you're not going to bring Ellison down with one arm tackle. He's just too tough, and you can see that right there.
Well, they're going for it. I think they need about a half a yard to the Eagles. 4th down, they're down 14-6. L.A. Ramsby is in as the running back for the Eagles. Ellison. Gives it to Ramsby. First down. And he runs into Ibika and a bunch of other guys. But a first down. Copeland's there on the tackle. I think J.P. Copeland was the first guy there. So it'll be first down and goal for Georgia Southern. They're at the 10-yard line. Down 14-6. Coming up on 3.5 minutes to go first half.
You know, they're just owning that front line, and when you own that front line, you have that little zone read in there. So off that zone read, you look for Ellison to keep the ball, pull it out, and take it around the side.
You've been seeing big Jeff Reed, number 96, who kind of is a tight end and a big body lined up in the backfield. He's lined up at tight end now. The give is to Ramsby down to the 5. Following that big line. Ward's in the middle of that. They ran off of that right side behind Logan Daves and Raymond Kluge. A gain of 5 right about to the 5, and it'll be second down and goal.
You know, that front line there is getting a 5-yard push on the Aggie defensive line, and as long as they do that, there's no reason they should get away from that running play. They'll just continue to pour it right down their throat. 2
tight ends come in on the right side. You see 33 and 96, Dean and Ward. Ramsby stays in. It's kind of like the battering Ramsby, isn't he? They're like running him up the middle. Let's see if they give it to him again. Dean is the up back. Ellison keeps it, throws, and it is incomplete. He was looking for the big tight end, Jeff Ward. Threw it a little bit high, and now it's going to be 3rd down and goal. You know, getting 5 yards at a whack here, you come out with 2nd and 5 or 6 or something. That was a good time to take a shot at the end zone. Aggies are ready for it, though. They were back there ready on that pass. Not much there. So is it 4-down territory from the 5? Or do you think they have to be inside 3 to go for it? Well, let's say they may score right here on 3rd down. It might not matter. Burrito's back in as the running back for Ellison. Kevin Ellison, the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week, keeps it. Throws, lofts it into the end zone. It is caught, but it is caught out of bounds. caught out of bounds. He was looking for B.J. Johnson, and now you got a decision if you're Willie Fritz.
Well, I think you take 3, right? But look at the coverage on Winston Rose back there. Great coverage. You know, he just rode him all the way out of bounds, right to the back of the end zone and out. There's not a lot there. Get that arm up the last second there. Yeah, that's very close.
Really close.
And they are going to go for 3.
So they bring in the field goal kicker. That's Alex Hanks. He's a heck of a kicker. It's going to be a field goal of about 22 yards. And now we may have a review. And I think Willie Fritz is out at about the 20-yard line. And he just got word down from the booth that they need to take a look at it. 2:27 to go, and you can see Willie right there saying, no, we think he got his foot down. I got to believe that's the conversation going on.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Also, Jeff, it's not a gimme on the field goal. You know, the extra point, they got a block on the extra point, so you got to be thinking as well that, you know, New Mexico State is back there saying, look, you blocked one already.
All right, so they are going to review this. And you know, when we looked at it at first, Danny, I thought it was really close. And take a look at it again and tell me what you think. Watch his right foot when it comes down. Does he have it, and is it in, or is it partially in? You cannot tell there. You flat out cannot tell. It's really close.
That's very close. But the official is right there too. So the official right on the spot, right? He's looking at him at the top of your screen or right to the left of your screen. You see him come into play there. He's saying he's out all the way. Right? So he's right there, and the official's looking at it.
If he just got his toe in and then kicked that pylon, that might be a touchdown.
Yeah.
Jeff Hillier is the referee in the white hat, and talking to the guys upstairs here in the replay booth. And the official was right there, you see. That's the field judge, Tom McCarter, who made the call. And this one's going to be, you know what, I don't know if it's conclusive. You think it is? I know the people sitting back in Georgia are going, yes, it is, you idiots. That's very conclusive.
Yeah, that's right. And let me just say, B.J. Johnson, that was a great catch. Wasn't that a great catch, though?
One-handed, cradled it. And that's going to be part of it. Did he get it all the way in? Did he have possession and control? And did that foot get down? And, you know, you got to decide, did you see enough there? And we'll take a look at it one more time because it's – take a look right there. It's down in, but if it comes down out,
they have the ball.
Now, I mean, is his toe on that white? And you just don't know. Well, I'll tell you what. If you'd have called that a touchdown, I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah.
Stands is what they said. Stands, not confirmed. So it will be 4th down and goal for Georgia Southern.
And that was a good challenge, right?
Oh, it's absolutely.
Yeah, that's a right time, the right place.
I still don't know if they got it right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, that was a good challenge by Will Fritz.
Yeah, so you know, during that challenge, I'd be on the sidelines of the coach saying, "Hey, look, you can block this. You're to block one. Go get it."
It will be a 23-yard attempt for Alex Hanks. Perfect.
It is good.
So with 2 minutes and 23 seconds to go, Georgia Southern is now converted and gotten points on their last 2 drives, and it's 14-9. Danny, 2:23 to go. This is a huge drive for New Mexico State coming up, don't you think?
Oh, I think absolutely it is. I think this is one where you have to use up as much of that time as possible and get points. You know, if you think about, too, what's happening here, you have to make sure you take care of the football. An interception, yes, that's bad on the last drive, but don't get too conservative either. That's the other thing.
The NMSU Model United Nations team members returned from New York last spring, where they earned the Distinguished Delegation Award at the Model United Nations Conference, a distinction that placed them in the top 15% of participants. It marks the 8th year in a row that the team of students has earned top honors at that conference. In addition to the Delegation Award, 14 New Mexico State University students earned individual awards. You can see more at newscenter.nmsu.edu. 8 plays, 18 yards. Victory for the Aggie defense on that to hold them to a field goal. They got the ball at the 27-yard line. You held them to an 18-yard drive and a field goal in 2:52. Victory?
Absolutely.
All right, so it'll be Washington and Keldrick Morgan again back to receive for New Mexico State. Danny, I think for the Aggies to keep the ball, and you want points out of it, but you don't want to give it back to this team and give up a halftime lead after the way you've played. That's Morgan. He's about 5 yards deep. Thought about it. You see Marquette Washington just did, no. Stay.
You know, you do want points off it. You do want to chew the clock. You don't want to get too conservative. The thing you don't want to do is come out and just throw 3 quick passes and be 1, 2, 3 out. Hey, defense, you're back out there again. So it's tough, but you also don't want to get so conservative that you end up coaching for a tie. Now that doesn't work. You have to go.
8 plays, 18 yards. It went 252 for the scoring drive for Georgia Southern. Tyler Rogers comes out now with 5 wide, so they're not looking conservative at all, Danny. Tyler throws. It is caught. That is Bowen out to the 34-yard line. Nope, that's Bowen. Gain of 9 out to the 34-yard line. 2nd down and 1 for the Aggies. Tyler's going to throw again. Has time. Great catch by Brown. Out to the 50-yard line. Jarrell Brown goes up. He was guarded well by Darius Jones. Brown just went up and plucked it out of the air.
Well, let me just say that the play calling, this is certainly where you can see where the Aggies are. They're going for everything. They're going to go for the win. They're not going to just be convinced that they can just play conservative.
Minute 52 to go. Tyler flips it out the far side. That's Morgan. Gets away from 1 tackle. Gets away from 2. Pushed out of bounds and then thrown to the ground by Darius Jones. Gain of about 9. Another good chunk on 1st down for New Mexico State.
And it's interesting they come out throwing the ball, right?
Forced down by number 5.
They've thrown the ball on all 4 plays on this possession. It'll be 2nd down at about 3. Betancourt close to the 1st down. Out near the 41-yard line. Looks like he's going to be about a half yard short. So we're coming up on a minute and a half. Aggies get right back on the ball. Fast-paced offense. You see it all over college football.
That's what it's all about anymore, isn't it? Everyone's coming out quick pace.
Rogers gives to Betancourt. Betancourt's got room. Across the 40. Brandon Betancourt across the 30. Grabbed and dragged down by Darius Jones, but not before he's got another New Mexico State 1st down to the 29-yard line. Aggies moving with a minute 16 to go.
I like the determination by Brandon in there. Takes the ball, jumps, puts a hand down on someone, gets past him, gets the extra yards.
Minute 8 now, it's counting. Aggies with a 14-9 lead over Georgia Southern. Betancourt again, right side, goes inside, gets to about the 25-yard line. Aggies have some timeouts to use. They will not use one here. Gain of 3.
Yeah, so now is the time where you have to be able to think about your play calling because you don't want to be able to have some type of interception.
Tyler rolls the pocket to the left, throws against his body. Into the end zone, out of bounds. Nobody was there. Good play to just throw that thing away.
Absolutely. I like that, Jeff. I like that he didn't feel so pressured that he had to try to force it in on something.
All right, 3rd down and 7 now. Are you in field goal range?
You're right on the cusp of it, right? So it would be nice to get another 5, 6, 7 yards.
Aggies have 3 timeouts left, 39 seconds to go. The clock is stopped after the incomplete pass. Larry Rose III, the freshman's in. He is slotted to the left. You've got 3 receivers slotted to the near side. Aggies need to get just inside the 20-yard line for a first. Rogers to throw. He does, and it's intercepted. It is intercepted going the other way. That is Matt Dobson with the interception for Georgia Southern, and he's finally brought down. Did they mark him out of bounds? Or did he get all the way to the New Mexico State 43?
Number 7, Matt Dobson.
I have an official still out of.
I got 3 officials marking the ball. It's a 1st down. So here's the play. Tyler just locked in on a receiver again.
He did the whole way. And if you look at the safety, he was just spying his eyes the whole time. So it was Matt Dobson. Matt was just looking at Tyler, and as Tyler looking at that guy, as soon as Tyler releases the ball, that's when the safety steps and breaks on the ball. And he just stepped right in front, and got the pick.
Georgia Southern's got 3 timeouts and 29 seconds to go. Well, that's a huge defensive play by Dobson. Tyler had a really, really nice 1st half. But that's a big play as the Aggies are going in and trying to pad their lead a little bit. Now they're going to try to hold on to their lead. Ellison comes out as the quarterback. He is the guy who's made things happen so far for Georgia Southern. Let's see if they open it up a little bit. The guy he likes is a big play guy is number 80, Showers. He's down on the left side, bottom of your screen. He's looking to the right is Ellison. Now he's in trouble and he's going to run. Ellison can do this very well. He gets a great block. Ellison across the 40 and out of bounds at the 32-yard line. A 1st down for Georgia Southern, and they're in business with 19 seconds to go.
You know, I was talking to some of the other analysts before the game, and they were saying this is the biggest thing they were worried about. They're saying, look, if you got a broken play and you put Ellison in the open, what a hit there.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
23 yards on the run by Ellison. He's got a 1st down at the 34-yard line. Ramsby's the back. Ransby's in the block. Ellison throws. Far side is complete. That is B.J. Johnson. He's been his favorite receiver so far today. A gain of only about 4, maybe 5, but it got out of bounds, stopped the clock. Give him 6 yards. That's going to go to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, that's a nice little pitch and catch right there when BJ just got right out of bounds there to stop the clock.
You're the Aggie defensive backs now. You don't want to let anybody get behind you and give something up here at the end of this quarter.
You don't, but you also want to put a little pressure on the quarterback as well. You don't want to just sit back.
Scott's the running back to block Ellison over the middle, and it is incomplete. He was looking for Zach Walker. Overthrew Walker. That stops the clock with 9 seconds to go. So now it's an interesting position. 3rd down and 4. What do? Yeah, I mean, you got 3 timeouts, but it just doesn't matter that you got 3 timeouts, although it means you can go over the middle real quick.
Yeah, you can do that, but certainly I think so. It looks like they're in a spread formation, but if it was me on Georgia Southern, here's what I would do. I would just sit in there and say, hey, diddle, diddle, I'm going to run in the middle. What are you going to do about it? Because they've been killing that offensive line, that defensive line for New Mexico State.
Devin Scott's the running back that would do it. Fake, and it's Ellison. He is wrapped up short of the 1st down. It doesn't matter. Willie Fritz calls timeout. 7 seconds. That play only took a second? 2 seconds?
Up the middle.
So it'll be 4th down and about 3. The ball is going to be placed at about the 28-yard line. That would make it, about a 45-yard field goal?
Yes, that's a decent little field goal in there. You know, the Ellison kept that one. I thought for sure he'd give it and just let him go power rush that ball right down the throat there. But because he kept it and kind of danced a little bit, it gave the Aggies just a second to react and go get him.
Let's see what they do. Alex Hanks is their place kicker. He's a good one. Let's see what they decide to do. His long on the season is 35 yards.
Now, how about the turnovers? How about the things that we talked about in the open and talked about all along? It says, it's going to kill us. Got to take care of the football, Right down at the end here, you turn one over.
When you talk about the turnovers, right? The Shapiro fumble on the first drive when the Aggies were moving. Defense was able to hold. Aggies had a great drive going here at the end of the quarter. And the interception was a huge one. Right, they're going to try it. Hanks lines up. The ball will be spotted at the 35-yard line. It's 45 yards. This would be his longest of the season. He's got a lot of leg. He's got plenty of leg in that thing. And that thing is perfect. Boy, he had 15, 20 more yards on it. So with 2 seconds to go in the first half, Georgia Southern has pulled it within 2 points of New Mexico State. In a very different 2 quarters. New Mexico State dominated the first quarter.
Yeah, and part of what happened here, if you look at what the stats tell you, is that you get 2 field goals off interceptions. So they get interceptions and take it the other way and score points. Instead of us, we were right there where we could kick a field goal.
5 plays, 28 yards. It took 27 seconds for the Hanks field goal. 45-yard field goal. Washington and Morgan will go back for New Mexico State, and you expect some sort of a squib kick to run this thing out. Well, there's Doug Martin on the sideline. He's going to take the lead, most likely, unless something crazy happens here. Most likely going to go to the locker room with the lead, but he doesn't look like a coach that's very happy with the lead.
I don't think so. I think part of what he's thinking is like, dadgum, we're right there. We talk about turnovers. I preach about it all day. And you can do that as a coach all day long. Stuff happens in the game, Jeff, right?
Yeah, they're going to have to work with Tyler Rogers because he's looked really good at times, but you're right as far as he stares down receivers sometimes, locks in, and that's been both the interceptions, and they were really costly.
For the Eagles, number 9,
Youngway Koo will do the kickoffs for Georgia Southern. Washington and Morgan back for New Mexico State. Washington's 24, Morgan is 19, as you see in there. In those sharp. What do you think of the pink uniforms?
I like them.
You like them? Yeah. A lot of pink around this place today. The kick is a squib kick. You better jump on that thing. That'll run out the clock. So we've hit halftime. Interesting first half. Didn't really know what to expect coming in, I'm going to be honest with you, Danny, and we've got a pretty interesting, entertaining football game as the Aggies jumped out to a 14-0 lead and a touchdown and 2 field goals in the second quarter, and Georgia Southern's back to within 14-12. If you're Doug Martin, you're going to the locker room, not as thrilled as you could be, but you got
Nope.
a 2-point lead. It beats the heck out of having a 2-point deficit, doesn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And here's the thing. You can't go in there saying and harping on things that are already taken place. It's like someone that's going to say, hey, pitcher, you shouldn't have thrown that pitch. It's over. It's done. It's thrown. What you got to be able to do is step in there and say, look, stuff happened. We know better. We're going to correct that. Now we have the momentum. Let's get our stuff together and be ready to go.
All right, there's New Mexico State coach Doug Martin trying to go 2-0 in Sun Belt Conference play. And he's going to go and talk to his team. He didn't wear the pink today, by the way. Has he got the pink going?
Well, he does. He's trying to get his headset right here.
Yeah. All right, 14-12, New Mexico State leads Georgia Southern. New Mexico State coach Doug Martin. Hey, Doug, I got to believe you're happy going in with a lead, but you got to be thinking about those turnovers that could have made that lead a little bigger. No, but can't hear me at all.
Little audio problem there.
All right, we'll try one more time. Coach, can you hear us at all? He shook his head. He said, nope, can't hear you. All right, well, there's your comments from Coach Doug Martin as we go to break. Halftime here at Aggie Memorial Stadium. He said, I can't hear you. But they're up 14-12 here on Aggie Vision. Beautiful day here in Las Cruces. I mean, it was just a perfect fall New Mexico day throughout the Land of Enchantment today. Perfect.
It was absolutely gorgeous. You cannot beat fall in New Mexico. And let me tell you, as I went around town today, visiting all my best places to eat and everything else, it was all about tough enough to wear pink shirts everywhere. You got to love it.
And there you see the ladies with the pink pom-poms and the pink shirts. Hey, our next volleyball broadcast of the season comes your way Thursday, October 9th against Texas Pan American. Come check out your WAC champion Aggie volleyball team. First serve set for 7 o'clock. For channels in your area, visit AggieVision.com. Take a look at the first half stats, and it's interesting, Danny. I mean, take a look at just the rushing yards. Georgia Southern is the #1 offense statistically in the conference coming in. They average 513 yards a game. Aggie defense has played really, really well.
Yeah, if you look at this, and based on what you just said, you would think we would be up by a lot more than we are. But let's look at the stats, and let's just say whatever they are, right? We own the turnovers, we own the air, they own the ground, right? And that's really the difference there is as long as we were in there, not throwing interceptions, we were doing just fine.
All right, remember your keys to the game? Let's take a look at those and see how those are working out.
Well, eliminate turnovers. Talked about if you want to beat a good team, do not turn it over. Well, we did, and those turnovers have cost us. We're going to see how much they cost us as the game goes on. Eliminate dual threat. Kind of did there for a while. You talked about the yardage, the rushing yardage. We've kept them down. We're kind of winning there. Offense needs long, sustained drives. We saw it. The first two drives, long drives. You get scores off them. Life is good.
All right, I did check, and there was nothing wrong with Kevin Ellison. The quarterback from Georgia Southern, he went out after the first 2 series. Fabian Upshaw came in. Just kind of a little change of pace for Willie Fritz. And, he didn't feel that Ellison really had him going the way they should be going. And so he just changed pace up a little bit. And it didn't work. He brought Ellison back in, and Ellison had the scoring drives, 3 of them. Derek Keaton and Monte Crockett are back to receive the second half kickoff from Maxwell Johnson for Georgia Southern as we are underway in the second half here in Las Cruces. That is going to be Crockett at the 10 and at the 20 and across the 25 and pushed out of bounds at the 27-28 line. That's where Georgia Southern will set up shop for their first possession of the second half.
That's not too bad coverage right there. There's been a lot of guys staying in their lanes. The ball's deep enough. That's not bad. Not a bad way to start this second half.
Georgia Southern scored on their last 2 drives of the first half, but they were field goals, and they started inside the New Mexico State 30. So you can say they scored, but I'll tell you the Aggie defense probably did a pretty good job with them. Let's see what happens. Matt Breida is back in the game. He's in along with Devin Scott. Breida took a shot on the near sideline towards the end of the first half, and obviously he's okay. He takes it off the left side and gets himself about 7 yards out to the 33-yard line. A bunch of Aggies were there.
Matt Breida.
If you look at what they're doing, this is really taking off what they did at the end of the second quarter. They own the ground, and they're just dominating the defensive line, Aggie defensive line.
That's going to be a first down. That time it was Breida again.
Breida once again.
Gain of about 5, so that's going to push him. And this is where you get a little bit concerned. You take a look at the size of the big offensive line. And can the Aggie, undersized defense, we've heard that all year, right?
Yeah, right.
Young and undersized.
Right, so, but some way they got to fight and hold their ground, hold their gap. So even if you're getting put on roller skates, as coaches say, you got to hold your gap, fall down, create a pile.
Darvin Scott is the back. Ellison's going to throw. And he's going to throw to the near side. He's tipped at the line of scrimmage. You see, he got a big hand on it? Because he's looking at the near side for Showers. Kame Johnson was out there.
I think that's
with
Copeland
Rose.
back there
It's
again.
Copeland
To put
again?
that, man, Copeland is everywhere.
It's a heck of a game.
How about that freshman from South Lake, Texas, huh?
Carroll High School in South Lake, Texas. So when you're a running team, like Georgia Southern for the most part is, I mean, they throw it again about 20-something% of the time. But you throw on first down and you don't convert, you don't cash in. It leaves you in second down and long, and that's where they are. 3 backs in a tight formation. Ellison keeps it on the option. This is Scott on the near side. That's Walker. Walker on the near side. Zach Walker.
On the carry.
That's 11 yards in the first down. That's an easy way to clear up second and 10, isn't it?
That's tough,
By
but
number 8.
one thing for certain, Ellison did take a pop on that, so everyone has assignments. So when you're running an option or defending an option, you have to play a lot of assignment defense, coaches talk about. And everyone is assigned someone. You have to play your guy. In that case, we didn't really have someone assigned or didn't get to the pitch on that.
Ramsby's in. He's back there with Devin Scott. Ramsby's first carry of the second half is a big one as he crosses out over the 45-yard line. Jacob Mwanga was the guy who tripped him up after a gain of 9. So a big chunk on first down. And right now, Georgia Southern's running the ball down the Aggies' throats.
Yeah, their defensive line has got to get their heels dug in there and not just get pushed back.
Ramsby again, enough for a first down. He pushes across the 40 and they'll move the sticks again. Well, this is what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I was surprised a little bit they got away from it in the first half, and then they started changing quarterbacks up, and they kind of just, I think, mixed up their game plan a little bit. And I think Coach came back the second half for Georgia Southern and said, look, let's just do what we do, and that's run the ball, run that right up the middle.
So it's Ramsby and Scott now in the backfield. Ellison's going to throw. Looks to the near side. It is knocked away. That's a heck of a defensive play there by Winston Rose. Rose knocked it away from Scott.
Not a lot happening there. I think Rose was all over that. That's one where I'd like to see the Aggies kind of break on that and get a pick in there. That's what they could use, a turnover going the other way to break the stride.
There you see Rose going in there with the big right arm. He actually knocked it away from, it wasn't Scott out there. That was Ryan Longoria that he was trying to get it to. Second down at 10. Ellison's going to throw again near side. That's Johnson. Johnson runs into a couple of Aggies and pushes his way for a gain of about 7 yards. Gets to the 33-yard line. Rose is there again with Mwanga, and it's going to be third down and 4.
So here's what you see, Jeff. You see, here's how you defend a blitz. And you see New Mexico State blitzing. Here's what the coaches do. They say throw into a blitz. In this case, we're blitzing the corner, or the ends. We're crashing off the end. And you'll throw into that crashing point, and you'll get the numbers.
Big play for the Aggie defense. Breda's back in. They got to get across the 30 for a first down. Breda's got it. He's across the 30 for a first down. Now he's loose. Breda's loose out to the 20. Breda's inside the 10-yard line. Breda has got a Georgia Southern. Nope, he's out of bounds at the 1-yard line. 33 yards on the run by Matt Breda as he got outside. They'll mark him at the 6. So he went out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
Well, talking about coming out flat for New Mexico State, that is flat. You know, you've got no drive on your defensive front line there, which creates a problem for the second level, and they get into third level quite easy.
Ramsby's the back now. First down and goal. Ramsby gets away from the tackle. Now can he outrun the defense to the pylon? He can. 2 hands just went up in the air, and it is a touchdown, Georgia Southern. 7-yard run, L.A. Ramsby, his 4th touchdown run of the season, and Georgia Southern has their first lead of the night.
We talked about being the edges have to play so hard, and they came in and they had him contained, but Ramsby bounces that one outside, all on determination. Get out there and gets the corner, and away he goes.
You see up 59, Brandon Magomo tried to keep him on the inside. That's what his job is, his defensive end, to keep him on the inside. He was unable to do that. And once Ramsby got to the outside, he had a clear shot at the pylon and was able to get there. And with 11 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the third quarter, Georgia Southern has now run off 18 straight points, going on 19 straight points, and they've got a lead 19-14 over New Mexico State. So they take the opening drive and go 10 plays, 73 yards. It only took them 3 minutes and 18 seconds. And the Eagles of Georgia Southern have their first lead here in the Land of Enchantment. And it's going to be a big offensive possession. We've been saying that a few times now, Danny, for New Mexico State.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're feeling good about coming in off halftime, saying, we're in the game, we're in the game, we're in the game. They come out, we come out flat, they come out strong. All of a sudden things change now. It's important, very important for New Mexico State, Coach Brandon, the offensive coordinator, is to call some good plays that are going to move the ball and chew up some time and get the confidence back. Remember that confidence, that swagger we had?
Yeah, the first quarter.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not seeing it. We just lost it, so we got to regain that somehow.
By far the best drive of the day for Georgia Southern. 10 plays, 73 yards. It took them only 3:18. Ramsby now has run the ball 9 times for 97 yards. Well, Teldrick Morgan is a guy that the Aggies are going to try to get the ball to. He ranks 10th in the nation with 508 receiving yards, tied for 7th in the nation with 36 receptions. He's number 19 back there to receive. And you can try to get the ball into his hands as much as they can. He's back there with Marquette Washington. Morgan will be at the top of your screen. It'll be Washington at the bottom of your screen for New Mexico State, as Younghoe Koo puts his foot into it, and it's going to be another touchback and another good kick for the Georgia Southern kickers. So, 25-yard line, you got to get your quarterback confidence again, and there's that sophomore quarterback, Tyler Rogers. This is a big drive for him and this team.
It is, coming back 2 interceptions. A quarterback is a tough position because you're called on to forget about what happened last time and get out there and do the same thing. So throwing the ball, that's what we do, Jeff. As much as like to say, let's establish the run and do this, we own the air. So you're going to have to own the air the second half, and you have to have confidence.
We got an injured Aggie on the play, and that's what's going to hold things up. Big drive coming up for New Mexico State. Danny, as we take a look and see what happened, because they're really on the kickoff, it looked like it was something late. I can't exactly see who that was.
It almost looks like, an accidental leg whip, if you will, or something happened where it just hit his knee.
Is it McKeithen Smith, 41? It may be him. It's funny, you talk about the kickoffs and how there really wasn't anything that happened on the kickoff. It was a touchback.
Right.
Nope. I don't know how I saw 41 out of that. It's Ralston Compton, freshman, California kid from Fontana, who's being helped off the field. College of Engineering concrete canoe team placed second behind first place Utah State at the American Society of Civil Engineers Regional Conference in Fort Collins, Colorado last spring. The process of designing and building the concrete canoe was time-consuming, all right, and exhausting as NMSU students worked from September until March to complete the water-worthy craft. You can see more at newscenter.nmsu.edu. Aggies have it at the 25-yard line, and for the first time today, they are trailing. 19-14, Georgia Southern on top. 5 wides for the sophomore quarterback, Tyler Rogers. He gets it out to Jarrell Brown. Brown breaks a tackle, gets across the 30 to the 31-yard line, a gain of 6 yards. That was Teldrick Morgan, not Brown. That was Teldrick Morgan on the play, and that's who they want to get the ball to.
Hey, coming back to the same thing that worked in the first half, and I don't see a lot of adjustments that Georgia Southern is making, spreading it out. They've had an empty backfield how many times? Should we bring one back?
That's Xavier Hall, getting maybe a yard.
Xavier Hall on the carry.
He ran into big Justice Ejike, the left defensive tackle for Georgia Southern, a big senior at 290 pounds. And here's a big play. 3rd down and 2 for the Aggies. They got to get to the 35-yard line. Tyler keeps it. Tyler is going to be about a half yard short.
Wow, it's too bad. He clearly saw where he needed to get to, but he just couldn't get enough leverage in there to get underneath the defender and get that first down.
Antoine Williams was the guy who was there, number 37, to make sure he didn't get there. And it's a 3-and-out for New Mexico State, which was the last thing Doug Martin needed to see out of his offense on their first possession, especially after Georgia Southern just came down and made something happen the other way. Troy Butler back to receive the punt for Georgia Southern. He sets up at about the 22, He's got some room after getting around two guys, and then he is dragged down at the 29-yard line. So that is where Georgia Southern's going to set up when we come back. 10 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the third quarter. Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State 19-14 on Aggie Vision. We'll go up against the New Mexico State defense with Georgia Southern having a lead 19-14. Georgia Southern's Eagles came out of the locker room and took the opening drive down the field and just really, Danny, ran it down New Mexico State's throat and said, come and see if you can stop us.
And I think you're going to see that again. And part of what we need to do, in addition to that inside zone, so the inside stuff, you got to sit tight and have those guys create piles, but we have to set the edge. You know, Coach Zane talked about it. Several other people I've talked to talked about it. Set the edge, force it, spill it back to the inside where you're going to get all the pursuit help.
29-yard line is where Kevin Ellison sets up. Breeda's the back behind him. Walker in motion. Ellison keeps it. He's got the edge. Butler can't get him. A bunch of guys, including Kave Johnson, finally wrap him up, but not before he gets 16 yards, 17 yards, and a first down out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. So there's the guy that we heard all about that was saying, you know, I watched him against Appalachian State last week on Thursday night where he looked so good when Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week. He's tremendous. And Danny, you're the one who said it. The coaching staff told you can't tackle him by just putting an arm on him.
Yeah, he's not going to go down.
Breida gets it this time. Big hole up the middle. Breida's across the 40-yard line into Aggie territory. Down at the 39-yard line, another 15-yard gain for Breida. So now they're just banging holes right through that offensive line.
And a couple things they've done a little different is they're going to bring an extra blocker and have the option, and in this case they didn't need to. They'll play before, they'll lead around with a tight end or someone else that's going to be in the backfield, 46 there for Georgia Southern, and that lead option is an extra blocker that we have to account for somehow.
Well, this time Ellison's going to throw on first down. He's got time to throw. Now he's running out of it, so he tucks it and runs and stuffs that thing up the gut for about a 3-yard gain to the 36-yard line. Good coverage in the secondary by New Mexico State.
Yeah, nothing to do there. In fact, if he throws that ball up, that could be a pick for New Mexico State.
Second down and 7. Big defensive series for New Mexico State, as they've watched a 14-0 lead turn into a 19-14 deficit. 8 minutes and 43 seconds to go. We're still in the third quarter and a lot to do here tonight. Ramsby's the running back. Second down and 7. Ramsby's got it. He's going to get himself about 3 yards. A bunch of Aggies were there.
On the carry.
Butler was there.
Third down.
Jay Eakins was there. And it's going to be about 4 yards. 3rd and 4.
This is a big
They got to get across the 30.
Yeah. And, you know, they're not doing anything fancy. I think it is just like you talked about. It's just going to be, hey, we're gonna sort of shove it down your throat, and you got to stop us. If you want to do something, you got to dig your heels in and stop us.
That should put Ramsby north of 100 yards. 10 carries, 100 yards. It's a pretty good average for a guy who came in averaging 3.3 yards per carry, isn't it, Danny? Averaging 10 yards a run.
That's big.
He had the big 46-yard bust as long as of his career back in the first half. And now we got a timeout call. New Mexico State calls the timeout on defense. We'll take it with us. 7:52 to go. Third quarter here in Las Cruces. Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State 19-14 on Aggie Vision. 4 for Georgia Southern. New Mexico State just took the timeout as the Eagles of Georgia Southern trying to convert on their second drive of the second half. They took the first one 77 yards and scored. Ramsby's the back. They're 2 of 10 on conversions on third down. Ramsey's got it. Ramsby puts his head down and pushes the pile for a first down. He gained 5, enough for a first down to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, that's tough, Jeff. This is just you know, 4 yards in a cloud of dust, 5 yards in a cloud of dust football. And so somehow you have to shut down that inside power dive. It's not even a zone read. They don't need a zone an option right now. It's just a power football.
Ramsby 11 carries for 105. Breida's got 97 yards rushing, and Ellison may tickle 100 before we're done too. Ramsby again, that's a big hole. Ramsby's into the secondary, runs over Kave Johnson, and is finally brought down there by Dalton Harrington, but not before he gets another huge chunk. More than 10 on that one as well, and another first down for the Eagles.
on the stop for the Aggies.
Ramsby's tough. I mean, he's just a battering Ramsby.
But look at the holes, too, though, by the way. You know, you just, in this case, we're bringing guys off the edge, and I get that, but you still have to hold your ground in the middle. When they turn the defensive linemen, they actually get them turned, it creates huge, massive holes.
First down for the Eagles at the 12-yard line. Breeda's the back. Why not? Just keep giving it to him. This time the Aggies are there. They plug that right side. He goes nowhere. Copeland was in on it. Butler was in on it. Ibekwe was in on it. Anybody else wearing pink? The guy in the third row was in on it. The tuba player was in on it.
We need it.
Second down and 11. They lost a yard on that, and there's a player down for Georgia Southern. Second half so far, Danny, they have just come out at Georgia Southern and just run it at New Mexico State, and there's nothing the Aggies have been able to do about it until that play right there.
Yeah, you know, the first quarter was something completely different. You know, they came out and tried to mix it up and do a little bit of option and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it was getting them nowhere. Now they've come out and said, okay, the heck with that. Just run the ball until they stop us.
Yep. Do you see who that is? That Breida? I don't want to guess it is. Is that – it is. That's Breida. 36 is down. He's their leading rusher, Conference Player of the Week just a couple of weeks ago. Ramsby's over 121 yards and a touchdown. Breida – 14 carries, 97 yards, and they're looking. What are they looking at? His right ankle?
Right ankle.
Yeah, that's a tough loss, and there's Willie Fritz. That would be a tough one for them when they're running the ball, but he's getting himself up and take a look and see what happened on it. Get a feeling that big man's going to be back? Well, he's a heck of a football player. He's Matt Breida, the big sophomore from Brooksville, Florida. Here's the play. Watch his right ankle. Yeah, it's at the very end of it.
Yeah, right.
Very end. It looked like Derek Ibekwe kind of rolled up on it. So here we go now, second down and 11. They can get a first down, can the Eagles. They can get inside the 3-yard line and get a first down, so it's not goal to go. Second down, 11. Ramsby is the back now. Well, one of a bunch of backs. But he's the one who gets it, and he runs into Butler. Rodney Butler was there, no gain. Maybe he got a yard back to the original line of scrimmage. Here's a big play now, Danny. Third down and 10 for the Aggie defense.
And that was a big play right there as well. But the difference with that whole drive and the last one we saw is the penetration on the defensive line. So they had great penetration. There was nowhere to go. This is a big third down, though, Jeff. You're absolutely right.
Think he throws it? I mean, they've been just getting big chunks up the middle.
I think they go option.
Ellison's the quarterback. He's going to throw. He's rolling the pocket, throws into the end zone, and it is knocked away at the last minute by Winston Rose.
You know, I'm really surprised, and here's why. They clearly have owned the ground tonight. We've owned the air, they own the ground, and they came out and played into one of our strengths, which is we've had a pretty good defensive secondary this game.
He was looking at Cameron May, and Winston Rose came into the last minute, poked it away. Looked like the receiver's open, and there comes Rose with the right hand. So Hanks comes on for his third field goal attempt. This is a 30-yarder. It'll be right at the 20. He had an extra point blocked early. This one, he's got a good leg on him. Plenty of leg and plenty of straight. And that will up the lead to 8. So we've got 5 minutes, 45 seconds to go. Third quarter in Las Cruces. Georgia Southern has scored 22 straight, and they lead New Mexico State 22-14 here on Aggie Vision. The Eagles have now taken a 22-14 lead here in Las Cruces over New Mexico State. Hey, Aggie men's season basketball tickets are now on sale. There are 17 home games on the schedule this season, and your Aggies are ready. Ticket bundles start at just $50. They can be purchased at the Pan Am ticket office, or you can call 575-646-1420. Marvin Menzies and the Aggies were here. They're down on the field during a timeout. Wave to the crowd. Hey, 10 plays, 58 yards for Georgia Southern. They ate up 421 and end up on a 30-yard field goal. And so now Youngway Koo will come out and kick off again for Georgia Southern, and it'll be Washington, and it'll be Morgan back to the Yankees.
So, Jeff, Coach Martin talked about the importance of being able to score when they score, to stay on ball, to make sure you don't dig a bigger hole. So it's really important that you not only get a good drive, but you get on the board and keep this thing close.
Aggies lost an offensive lineman, Andy Cunningham. The starting right guard is on crutches and he's out of uniform, so they've been playing without him since early in the first quarter. Teldrick Morgan's going to take it out of the end zone for New Mexico State. He's across the 20, pushed out of bounds at about the 22-yard line, pushed out of bounds by Reagan Sam there. So the Aggies, we've said this the last, four drives? 4 times they've had the ball? Big offensive possession for New Mexico State.
Well, if you look at what's been working for New Mexico State tonight, you look at the number of different receivers that Tyler has been able to go to. You know, he goes to Morgan, to Bowen, to Brown, to Matthews. He's used just about everyone, but a lot of it is the passing aspect of it. And if it's been working, you got to kind of stay with it a bit.
That's Larry Rose, the third, coming on the near side. Larry gets across the 35 and dropped the football. The football is out, and it looks like Georgia Southern may have it. An arm popped in, and Rose put the ball on the ground, and waiting for one of those guys in a striped shirt to point one way instead of a guy in a pink shirt or a white shirt. Well, this would be a devastating turnover for New Mexico State. And really, Danny, turnovers have killed them so far this evening.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look and see if there was a New Mexico State guy that was in there trying to scoop it up as well. But I don't know. This is a coin toss.
Well, Tyler Rogers is clapping. Adam Shapiro came out ripping at his chin straps, but the Aggies had the football.
Hey, here's the sad part to it. We recover our own fumble, right?
Yeah.
And we get really happy. It's like, oh gosh, this is the best thing that's happened to us this half. Maybe it has. You know, maybe giving the ball there is, like you said, could have been the death penalty, but you got to get back to start taking care of the football and doing the things that have been working for you in the first half.
Valerian Ume-Izioke recovered at the center for New Mexico State. So it's second down, and Tyler's going to keep it, and he's got some room. Good cut back to get the first down to about the 34-yard line. It was that last cutback by Tyler that was able to get him enough yardage. And look, at this point, not going 3 and out was pretty important.
Yeah, that's very important too. You know, that's a good play right there, because now Georgia Southern knows that we're going to have to start throwing the ball, and they spread him out and leave it open for Tyler.
That's Xavier Hall for New Mexico State with a good burst. He gets about 10 yards out to the 44-yard line, and another New Mexico State first down.
Yeah, just see him take care of the football right there.
Yep.
I like that second hand going over top of the football.
So the Aggies are back to the pace that they were early in the game, and they all moved early this time. Everybody looked like the center is the guy who forgot the snap count, because everybody else moved, huh?
Yeah, you know, those will kill you. Just we had one in the first half where it cost us 3.
Well, it cost you a field goal attempt. So it cost New Mexico State a field goal attempt. It looked like everybody moved. I saw Xavier Hall in the backfield. I mean, the line moved, the running back moved, everybody moved with the ball. So it'll be first down and 15 at the 39. Aggies are going to have to get into Georgia Southern territory to eventually get the first down. Empty backfield for Tyler Rogers, the sophomore quarterback. Pumps and takes it up the middle. Rogers weaving his way, got himself about 6 yards to the 46-yard line, where it'll be second down and 9.
You know, I'm not sure how that play can't get you 5 or 6 yards every single time when you spread everyone out.
Yep.
We outnumber them on the offensive line.
Comes the near side. That is Bowen. And the little guy from Albuquerque is wrapped up by a couple of guys. Wright was there, along with Dobson on the tackle for Georgia Southern. It goes for a no gain.
That's Adam Shapiro out there blocking for him. Those plays we talked about, the point of attack, trying to get that play to open up, it has to be on the block.
Big play here now for the Aggie offense to stay on the field. Flag on the play, so they're talking to Georgia. I didn't even see the flag.
I didn't either.
But obviously, they're talking to the Georgia Southern captains to decide. Now, what do? Do you give them the down over and back them up? If assuming it's a 10 yards, a holding penalty. They declined it and put him at 3rd and 9. So they called it on Shapiro, right? So it'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Aggies. They got to get to the 46-yard line of Georgia Southern. And now there's another whistle coming in off the side. And the official that was over near the Georgia State sideline is the guy who came out. Is Willie Fritz telling him I wanted to back him up? I actually wanted to accept that penalty?
I was going to say, is he saying, hey, look, that's not what I said. That's not.
Well, one of your guys said it. We make it up for you.
Nick, I didn't say that.
Yeah, back that thing up. Can I have a redo? All right, Tyler's going to throw in the roll the pocket. Looks and it's picked off again. Boy, he just stared that way, and it is intercepted. And another nice play. That is their nickelback, Deion Stanley, for his third interception of the season. Stanley just walked in front. There weren't a lot of guys on that side of the field anyway, and so when you rolled it out, there wasn't a lot of options for Tyler. And the nickelback, Stanley, just came in for his third interception of the year.
It was good defense. So if you look at that, so as he rolls out, it was Morgan. He was trying to get on a little kind of quick button hook once he got past the first down markers, and the defense was sitting back there in good position. They were behind Morgan, and as soon as the ball was released, they broke on the ball and were able to get a pick.
Fourth turnover of the day for New Mexico State. 3 interceptions by Rogers and the fumble on the first series by Shapiro, and they almost turned it over earlier. Remember, Larry Rose fumbled early in that series, and they were able to get back on it. Scott's the running back now. Devin Scott's 28. Instead, back goes Ellison to throw. He's going to cut it up the middle, and he's going to spin away and get himself a first down. 10 yards right up the middle for Kevin Ellison, the sophomore quarterback from Columbia, Georgia, and a first down for Georgia Southern.
Now, Georgia Southern is a second half team that's looking very strong, right? They're completely different than the first half.
First down and 10 for the Eagles. They're at the 34-yard line as they move the sticks again. L.A. Ramsby back in with Ellison in the backfield. Ramsby's got it. Gets away from Butler, but he did not get away from the second guy who was there. Butler was there to slow him up. Dalton Harrington came up from the outside linebacker position and held him to a gain of 1. Harrington's had a pretty good season so far. Great game last week, I thought, especially the first half against LSU. Came up with a couple of turnovers. Been in the right spot a number of times today. Second down and 9 for Georgia Southern. Zach Walker is the tailback. Ellison keeps it. Far side. He tucks it, gets away from Harrington. Tucks it again for a first down to the 15-yard line. A gain of about 17 yards on second down for the quarterback.
Looks like he's kind of limping or something, shoulder or something. This is the option you're talking about.
They took him out.
Yeah, they took him out. Assignment football, and clearly we had an assignment there that was blown. He just didn't get to the quarterback. He fell down, and that created the big break and play right here. So assignment football, everyone has got a guy. The assignment there, that's Dalton. He's got the quarterback and just kind of stumbled.
That's Scott scooting towards the Aggie goal line before Copeland pushes him out at the 3-yard line. It's going to be another first down, and this time first down and goal for Georgia Southern. So they have just come out in the second half and just said, here we go. We're going to come right at you and run it down your neck, and that's what they've been able to do so far. Ian Days is in, big number 35 in the backfield. Look at the size of him, huh? Fabian Upshaw up the middle. Days down to the 1. So right now I don't think it matters what quarterback they've got. Their offensive line is really
and I think what they've done, they've gone to this quick little, called plays, run to the line of scrimmage and run it as fast as you can so New Mexico State doesn't see the type of formation they have.
Up the middle and in. Days with the touchdown. Georgia Southern has scored again. Days with the touchdown. Big Ian Days. First touchdown of the year for Days, and it is another impressive drive for Georgia Southern. Where they just keep running it, man. Right down the throat. You wonder why they maybe didn't do it as much in the first half.
Yeah.
Hanks in for the extra point for Georgia Southern. It's been busy today. Had 1 PAT blocked, had 3 field goals. And this extra point is on the way, and it is good. 6 plays, 44 yards, another touchdown for the Eagles.
And it comes off that the INT. So these are those things that will kill you. Is this you give up the ball and they come back and make it hurt.
Well,
score right off it.
You're right. When you think of the turnovers, the end of the first half, the interception, Dobson's interception was brought back. Georgia Southern got the field goal at the end of the half.
All right.
Right before that, there was another interception that was returned to the 20-something yard line, and they got a field goal off of that. And this interception was turned into a touchdown for Georgia Southern. So the Aggies, after leading 14-0, this crowd's starting to feel a little bit shaky. This is, if you're going to get back in, you got to get in now.
You do, no doubt about it. And you're right. So 3 interceptions, they got points off all 3 interceptions.
6 plays, 44 yards. It took 2:21 for Georgia Southern to do that. Ian Days cashed the check with a 1-yard touchdown run for Georgia Southern, who now has a 29-14, 29 straight points for the Eagles. I don't know, maybe did it take them a little while to adjust to the food?
Well, yeah, that's right. We had special food sent to the hotel. I think, we came out in a spread formation. They had trouble with that offensively. But and I think they just now have the momentum, and we're kind of out of kilter. So I would expect maybe they'd look for a quarterback change for us to try and mix it up and gain something from that.
Eagles will kick off from the 20 after an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after the touchdown that was called on Georgia Southern. So the Aggies should get good field position here. Washington and Morgan back. Keldrick Morgan is the guy they want to get into his hands. Keldrick is had pretty much good Keldrick Morgan day, huh?
Yeah.
Marquette Washington is on the near side of your screen. There's Keldrick. Youngwei Koo will do the kicking, this time from the 20-yard line. He's done really well with putting this thing in the end zone for touchbacks. Let's see what he can do from the 20-yard line. Now he can knock it around where Morgan's got to pick it up at the 10. Across the 20. Ridden down at about the 32-yard line. That's where New Mexico State sets up shop, which is what now is a very, very important drive for the Aggies. After leading 14-0, they find themselves down 29-14. And they are going to change quarterbacks, Danny. Anthony Joyner's, no. Allen's going to be in. All right, Allen's coming in at quarterback. And I saw Joyner come on the field. I'm like, what's he doing? Yep, there's a guy who was really impressive last week in his time in his runs against LSU, and he takes it right up the middle. Andrew Allen is your quarterback.
Allen against LSU had that quarterback draw that went 79 yards, and he kept LSU off him the whole way. They didn't gain ground on him as he was running the whole time. So definitely a running threat. If he can throw a pass or two, it'll be really big.
6'1" freshman out of Texas. Gives it to Xavier Hall. Hall tries to push the pile. He got himself about 3 yards. Get out to the 43, 44-yard line. So let's see if there's a spark. And it's going to be interesting. We talked about it early. How would Tyler Rogers come out of the LSU game? And I thought in the first half he looked pretty impressive. It looked like he had some confidence, but turned the ball over a few times, and it seemed like the confidence maybe went away. Hall. 3 guys on his back, got himself another yard.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, back to your comment, sometimes you start to press a little bit, and when you get into situations where you're trying to hurry and make it happen quickly, you press and you end up doing things that you don't normally do, which could be maybe a telegraphing a pass or something. But mixing it up like this is good coaching anyway, because it'll give us a spark that we need.
Third down and 8. Second down and 8 for Allen. Across the 50, right at midfield. So that'll set up a 3rd down and 4 for New Mexico State. Betancourt on the carry.
The difference that you'll see is that it becomes more of a running game as opposed to throwing the ball down the field, and we've really had a lot of success in throwing the ball, so now it gets more to a running aspect.
Well, we're going to see how the Aggies can come back and how they're going to try to do it. They are down 29-14 on Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. We've played 3 quarters. Georgia Southern has scored the last 29 points. But the Balloons looked great early in the day. So did the Aggie offense. They always look great. They still look great. Oh, those young ladies do. But we've got 15 minutes still to play here at Aggie Memorial Stadium. 29-14, Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State here on Aggie Vision. 15 minutes to go here at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State 29-14. It is a 3rd down and 4 for the Aggies. Andrew Allen is the quarterback. He's going to drop back to throw, drop the football, pick it up, and then stumble to the 50-yard line where he's going to be 4 yards short of a 1st down. You're trailing 29-14. You're at midfield, and you're setting up the punting game.
Yeah, this is a tough call right there because Andrew Allen, all of his success when he's come in has been running the football. So now you're in a kind of a passing situation. Do you come out, fake the pass run, which we did, or do you actually throw the ball? That's a tough call.
Troy Butler back to receive the punt for Georgia Southern. He's back at about the 10-yard line. That's about where he's going to catch it. It's really one tackle. He's in between. Dragged down from behind after about 13 yards out to the 24-yard line. So Danny, New Mexico State, since their last touchdown drive back in the first quarter, has had the ball 7 times. They've turned it over on downs, interception, interception, punt, interception, and punt. 14:09 to go, fourth quarter. Georgia Southern leads the Aggies 29-14. 29-14, Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State here on Aggie Vision. Fourth quarter, Georgia Southern has scored 29 straight points. L.A. Ramsby is their back. He's having a heck of a game. Burrito went out with a little ankle issue a couple series ago. We've not seen him since. Ellison's in at quarterback. He's back in. Remember, he went out last series. Gives it to Ramsby up the middle. Hats flying. Ramsby gets himself about 5. He's out to the 30-yard line. Getting 6 yards in the second down.
You know, that's just in your face, hard-nosed football right there, where you get some double teams up front and you're just going to pour it in there as hard as you can and make the linebackers spill in there and try to make the stop. And it's been tough for Owen.
Second down and 4. It's Ramsby and Ellison in the backfield for Georgia Southern, and I don't expect to see them throw it a lot. It's Ellison keeps it. He's got a lot of room. Left side, dodging tacklers. He is out to the 45-yard line. Another first down, a gain of about 19 yards on that play. Another first down for Ramsby. Boy, you've got, for Ellison, you've got Ramsby over 100. Burrito, I think, had 97 when he went out. And Ellison's got to be tickling.
Yeah, that's tough right there. Well, last play we had Clint Bernard in there in the middle backer, and he blitzed on that and just couldn't catch up with him. And so that's, you know, coach is trying to mix it up and do some different things, stunts and blitzes to try to slow down the run.
Ellison's going to throw this time. Looking over the middle, lofts it deep over the middle, looking for Johnson. It is knocked away. Incomplete. Defending on the play for New Mexico State was Lewis Hill. A pretty good job defending by him.
Yeah, there was two back there. It was great coverage, and I'm still a little surprised they're going to throw the ball when they're coming out here. Maybe just to mix it up and keep everyone honest, because they've owned the line of scrimmage. And with throwing the ball, you know, the only thing that, you know, certainly come up with a pick.
And it stops the clock a little bit. 98 yards rushing for Ellison. Days is the back behind him now. He scored the last touchdown. Actually, that's Burrito. No, it's Burrito back in. Ellison keeps it. Cuts inside, and Donald Ibikwe brings him down as he gets over the 50-yard line. So it'll be third down at about 5 for the Eagles.
You know, that's the setting the edge. Setting the edge, Jeff, that we talked about. We set the edge good, but Allison still was able to get some yardage in there. That's because we stick out one arm, we don't break down and wrap up with 2. And he's just a strong runner, as Coach told us about, and said, you know, he won't just go down with one arm.
They need the 45, does Georgia Southern. Scott and Ramsby are the backs. Ramsby. The middle, and he's not going to get there. Ibikwe, amongst others, was there for New Mexico State. Copeland in the middle of it again.
Yeah, that's a blitzing. That's that.
Leia, too.
Yeah. He had a tough game up front there. Coach certainly was bringing everyone that time. He's bringing the house, wanting to stop them best that you can at this point, because you still have a chance if you can quickly get on the board, but you got to make a stop, so that's nice.
When was the last time they punted? It seems like a month ago. Yeah. Ryan Nowicki is in. Back is Morgan for New Mexico State. He'll wave his hand and make the fair catch at about the 15-yard line. So the Aggies, if they're going to get back into it, are going to have to do it quickly. 11:42 to go in the fourth quarter. Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State 29-14 on Aggie Vision. Georgia Southern was going to run the ball and run it well, and their quarterback, Kevin Ellison, is now over 100 yards. He's 104 yards rushing. It's the fourth time this season he's been over 100 yards. He had 151 in last week's win over Appalachian State, and he's been very good. Ramsby he had 130. Breida had 96. He still has 96. Aggies need to move the football. That's Brandon Betancourt. Goes nowhere. Got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe, which is the 16.
Allen on the keeper.
Second down and 10. So Doug Martin's made the switch at quarterback. It's going to be tough to get back, don't you think, Danny, without throwing it a little bit?
It is, and I'm thinking, I'm sitting up here thinking, what would I do? I would certainly go to the air because that's where we've dominated. But you have a quarterback in there that hasn't thrown a lot.
Well, Allen throws and it's complete. Keldrick Morgan with the reception. It's 5 yards worth of reception out to the 21-yard line. A quick one. It's going to set up 3rd and 5.
Well, one of the things I think that I would do with Allen is roll him out because he's fast enough to create a lot of havoc if he needs to take the ball and run for a first down, and then be able to have run-pass type options.
3rd and 5.
3rd down and 5. Aggies need to get to the 26-yard line. There you go. They roll him out. And he's looking deep, and he's throwing deep, and he's got Brown down there, and it was caught, but I think he was out of bounds. Boy, good coverage down there by Georgia Southern. That's that nickelback, Deion Stanley, who had the interception early.
4th down.
Now you got to punt. 3 and out was the last thing New Mexico State needed to do.
Right. I'm not sure that they needed to go for everything there. Maybe they saw something on a matchup that they were really liking, and so they went ahead and gave it a shot. But there was great coverage down the line.
Yeah, nice catch out of bounds, but Stanley, nice coverage by him. That's going to set up another punt for New Mexico State. Troy Butler back to receive for Georgia Southern. He's got both of his feet on the 40-yard line. He's got this thing pegged. He moves. He doesn't move a yard every time. He's right there. Now he's got some room up the middle. Cross midfield. Gets to about the 46-yard line, a return of about 14 yards, and Georgia Southern is in good shape. Again, a 41-yard punt, 14-yard return.
Yeah, this is tough run right here for the Aggie defense because they get field position. They're midfield already because you couldn't move it on the offense and get that first down. You couldn't really make a change in the field position. So now here you are, midfield, and you need the ball back desperately quickly.
You got to do something with it. They haven't done anything with it since the first quarter. Yeah. Kevin Ellison, actually, you know what? The drive right before halftime, they were moving the ball really well until the turnover. The turnover just killed them. So Ellison comes out, 104 yards rushing for him, and they're mixing things up a little bit now. Ramsby's back there, along with Scott. They run the option. Ramsby is the lead blocker. That's Scott on the pitch. And Winston Rose comes up and makes a nice tackle from the cornerback position to stop him right at the line of scrimmage.
And Winston Rose did a great job of getting rid of his block and getting to the pitch man immediately. That's a nice job right there. 2nd down and 10. We're coming up on 10 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter in Las Cruces. 29-14, Georgia Southern on top of New Mexico State. Aggies jumped out to a 14-0 lead on Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night. If you're just joining us, Georgia Southern has scored the last 29 points. Ball's on the ground, and Ellison's just going to cover it. I don't know. I just don't think he ever had the snap. I don't think so either. I think it was a low snap, too, because it came down a little bit lower.
Yep.
3rd down.
So 3rd down and 14. Aggies trying to force a 3 and out, get off the field. The cowbells are out here at Aggie Memorial Stadium. See if Ellison throws the football. Looking over. Yeah, he just never had it. It was a little bit low, and he just never had the snap. Ramsby's in as the back. Johnson split wide to the right. That's been his favorite receiver today. And he gives it to Ramsby right up the middle. Ramsby is going to get dragged down by Butler. A gain of about 4. It's going to be 4th and 9, and they're going to have to punt it right back to New Mexico State. Now, Georgia Southern's fine with this. You're Georgia Southern, Willie Fritz, you're fine. You want to play back and forth, 3 and out, and kick the ball back and forth. We'll run this drill until there's zeros on the clock.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So they chewed up a good chunk of time, and they're going to get the putt off and have field position. So they're going to make it very difficult on the Aggies. So from an Aggie perspective, they really need to come out and pull out all stops and start to say, okay, if we're going to do this thing, we're going to have to really come out here and start throwing the ball. Well, you don't have to throw them all deep. You can just throw a lot of short, intermediate.
To go try and block this thing, make something happen?
I think so. I think you were very close the first couple quarters.
Nowicki back to punt. Morgan's back to receive. Aggies came, but they didn't really get that close. It's a nice high booming kick. It's going to go over Morgan's head and into the end zone for a touchback. So the Aggies will start at the 20. Still time left. They're down 2 scores. 8 minutes and 12 seconds to go, fourth quarter. Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State 29-14 on Aggie Vision. 29-14, Georgia Southern leads New Mexico State here on Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night. They've been doing this for a number of years down here in New Mexico State, and it's one of the first places, legend is, it started here with all the pink stuff. This is Illuminaria display, and the Wings of Hope and the bags with sand and candles and lights on campus as we try to find a cure for this disease, which has touched probably every one of our lives, and cancer awareness, cancer research awareness. Tyler Rogers back in the game, a quarterback for New Mexico State, Danny. They got to believe they got to sling it a little bit. Doug Martin's got to figure this is his best chance to get back in the game and let Tyler try to make something happen.
Yeah, I think we talked about that at the break, and I think this is what I would do because you got to get there and hurry. He's done so well the first half.
And completes it over the middle. That is Morgan. First down, 17 yards worth of play for New Mexico State. Gets him out to the 37-yard line. The best play probably for New Mexico State since the second quarter. Yep. Rogers with 5 wides. He's got 8 minutes to go. He's down by 15 points. Throws, completes. 5-yard gain. Goes right back to Morgan.
I like it. I like little safe passes, little outs, little button hooks. And the ones that he's getting caught on are where there's long forming plays where he has too much time to look through a receiver.
7 yards on that. They give it to Xavier Hall. Hall squirts through. First down, he's across midfield for New Mexico State. Rashad Williams on the tackle for Georgia Southern. The Aggies have a first down.
Yeah, that's nice running by Hall right there, right? So I don't even know how he got that first down. He just snuck through there.
Big defensive line for Georgia Southern. Rogers throws. Looks to the left side. Overthrows Shapiro, who took a hit anyway. Matt Dobson was there defending. He overthrew Shapiro, who's not a very big man, standing about 6'1", $192. He's not super small.
No, Adam's a very fast guy, Rio Rancho kid, right? So great New Mexico kid. He's done quite well down here in New Mexico State. It just got up a little bit high on him, but I think he was open.
Is that the first time he's looked at him and been targeted since that first quarter fumble?
I think it has been.
Second down 10. Rogers to throw. Left side. It is caught. Complete. That is Shapiro. Gain of about 5. Which will be third down and 5 for the Aggies. And the clock continues to run. Coming up on 7:06 to go in the fourth quarter.
So Georgia Southern comes with a blitz. And I like Tyler in there. He has confidence. He stayed in there. He knew he was going to take a little pop in there, and he still got the ball off.
Roll the pocket out this time, near side, it is complete. Matthews has it. Did he get enough to get the first down? I think he did. Mark it at the 38, 37-yard line on the first down for the Aggies.
I think he clearly got enough for the first down there. Coach Littlejohn, the wide receiver coach, was right on that side, so I'm sure he was going to make sure he got to the first down marker. You're right.
Todd Littlejohn be barking at you. Rogers to throw again. Matthews across the middle, steps to get away from one. It's going to be dragged down to the 30-yard line. So they go to Matthews again.
A little crossing underneath route there. Nice hands by Matthews. It takes care of the ball once he has it.
Gain of 9. Matthews came in second on the club in receiving, in reception. Second, Morgan. 2nd and 1. Betancourt off the left side. First down, he's got more. Betancourt dragged down at the 16-yard line, 17-yard line. First down, New Mexico State.
Did you think he was going to break that to the left right at the end there and take it to the house?
Yeah.
I don't know where the guy came. It must have been a linebacker that came back on him to pull his foot. Let's see if we can see it. Nice blocking up front, like the Holt was a backer one coming across, one arm. Boy, I thought he was going to take it.
Jarrell Brown on the reception, but he could not get away. That's a heck of a play out there by Antonio Glover to wrap up Jarrell Brown and keep the gain to just about 2 yards on first down. Glover third on their club in tackles, coming in with 23. He's their starting strong safety, a junior from Atlanta, Georgia. Clock's ticking out, coming up on 5.5 minutes to go. 2nd down and 8 for the Aggies, who trail by 15 points. Rogers flips it out, complete. That's his tight end, Andrew Dean, and he's going to lose about 2 yards.
Well, that's the first time we've really seen him come out there and line up in the backfield and come out of the backfield. And someone was clearly spying him the whole while. He wasn't going to sneak him out for much.
3rd down and 10, obviously 4-down territory for New Mexico State with 5 minutes to go, and down by 2 scores, 15 points. Big play for Tyler Rogers and the Aggie offense. 4 wides and 1 back in. Tyler throws near side, complete. Oh, it is complete. It's Bowen, but it's not nearly enough. Bowen with Deion Stanley draped all over him. So a short gain. It's going to be a gain of about 3, and it's going to be 4th down and a bunch. 4th and 7. The Aggies got to get to about the 8-yard line to keep this drive and realistically getting this game alive.
Yeah, right. You need this 4th down conversion, no doubt about it.
Bowen comes off. They send Dean, the tight end, back in as everybody's looking over to the bench. A lot of time ticking away. 10 on the play clock now. Betancourt's the running back. Tyler will throw. He's being flushed out of the pocket. Throws near side, complete to Betancourt. 1st down, New Mexico State at the 5-yard line. Boy, that was a good, patient play by Tyler.
And someone was chasing him all the while. And so Betancourt, I wasn't sure that he had the first. I had to kind of take another look there. That's a nice play right there. Good job by Tyler.
Betancourt stays in as the running back as we're coming up on 4 minutes to go. Brandon's got it. Right side. Touchdown, New Mexico State. 5 yards for Brandon Betancourt.
Yeah, this is nice. This, haven't had a score since the first half. This is really a good drive. Now, Georgia Southern clearly was playing a little softer this time around because they have a lead, they have the clock. But still, you're still in the game, Jeff. You still score here, get the ball back.
Illegal substitution on the defense was the flag, so the touchdown will stand. Betancourt scores. So now you're going to need a 2-point conversion at some point. Doug Martin decides we'll take it later. I think this is the right decision. You don't start chasing points until you need to start chasing points. And so he'll bring in Maxwell Johnson to kick the extra point and try to get this thing to 8 points and then get a stop and get the ball back is what you hope. The Aggies have 2 timeouts left. Georgia Southern with all 3. That was an impressive drive, by far the most impressive drive for New Mexico State since the first quarter.
And a lot of it was built on Tyler coming back in, had confidence, throwing the ball nicely, that long drive. That's what it was all about.
13 plays, they went 80 yards after the touchback on the punt. It took them 4 minutes and 14 seconds. So if anything, maybe a little too much time went off the clock. There wasn't a lot of urgency, but you know what? Maybe you need to get that quarterback some confidence.
Yeah. There was a few times that maybe a little bit of more time came off than you'd want, but they scored.
Point after is good. Betancourt now leading all Aggie rushers. This one carried it 9 times for 59 yards. He's got the touchdown. It's a big drive. So 3:58 to go. You trust your defense to get stopped? I don't think you're onside kick.
Yeah, I don't think you do either. I think you have 4 minutes. I think this is where you really need a long kicker, Jeff, that kick the ball in the end zone and try to get field position and depend on your defense to make a stop. So this is where you need someone to kick it all the way through the end zone, start at the 20, and hold them and try to keep field position for a score.
All right. Well, the defense is for the last 2 drives, right? They forced punts the last 2. So that's what you were hoping with New Mexico State. You've got 2 timeouts left. You trail by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, 29-21, and that ends the scoreless streak. Georgia Southern had scored 29 straight points, and a lot of them were because of turnovers.
And we talked about turnovers in the open. We talked about turnovers on the keys. And we talked about how it can really take you out of a game. But we start looking at some of the turnovers here. Here's one of the interceptions that was thrown, and they've scored off all of the interceptions that we've thrown. There's another one that kind of just slipped through. That was a big one there, right?
That was Dobson right before the end of the half, and they got a field goal out of that.
Right.
And I believe this one's probably going to be the Deion Stanley interception. there he is stepping in front of Morgan, and that was a big one as well.
Right.
All right, so now you need, if you're New Mexico State, some defense. And they're expecting the onside kick.
This is where you need your linebackers to really step up. Right now we have...
And they're going to get the onside kick in. The hands team out for Georgia Southern. It's a high bouncing kick, and it is taken by Zach Walker of Georgia Southern.
Wow.
So
that's Clint Bernard to put the hit on that.
Recovered.
Walker on the hands team, and it was a nice hop right about eye level. He jumped up to get it. The senior from Wrightsville, Georgia. A big play on special teams by him. And so with 3:55 to go, Georgia Southern will take over in Aggie territory. They got an 8-point lead. You know they're going to run the football. Are they going to stuff it up the gut? Probably the first time. Are they going to run an option? Maybe the third time. But you know what's coming.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to. Here's the hit right here. This is Clint Bernard on the hit too, right? So Clint come down there, nice hit. That's a great job right there. You know, Jeff, they're gonna run the ball, right? They're certainly gonna run the ball, take at the clock, and be conservative, and just sit on it. And so now from Mexico State, we have leading tacklers with Rodney Butler, 16, Harrington, 14. Those guys have to step up, get quick tackles, and the first guy hold on, the second guy start ripping the ball.
Ransby's the running back. There's a flag on the play.
Delay of game.
Taking the time and the clock stopped. So force the 3 seconds ticked off. Look at 3:58. Yeah, I guess that's not right. So 5 yards back, and that's going to help the Aggies.
Yeah, I don't think that was part of their strategy. I think Coach Fritz over here just reminding everyone of what the strategy is at this point, and that was not it.
You know, nothing else on the last drive. Good confidence drive for Tyler Rogers.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a nice drive by Tyler.
Ellison's keeping it. Forced inside. Gets through Butler's tackle. Finally dragged down at the 40-yard line.
Kevin Ellison.
That's a gain of about 12 yards, 13 yards. Big gain on first down. Big gain on first down.
Yeah, Butler kind of dove at it there. You know, Butler's done a great job, but you have to somehow get it there and hang on to the runner and not be diving at it and giving it a big yard gainage like that. 2nd down and 2.
Eagles trying to buy themselves another set of downs. Ellison keeps it again. Gets around the corner, has a first down, has a lot more than a first down to the 20-yard line. Flag comes in late on the play. Lewis Hill is the one who rode Ellison down to the ground. Let's see what the flag is. Probably some sort of a spot foul is what I think on some sort of a bad block, right? But it's so far downfield that it's probably going to result in a first down anyway.
Yeah. And it looked like, I wasn't sure.
Holding 12 offense.
Wow. Yeah, but it's a spot foul, I believe, and so it's still going to be a first down. B.J. Johnson's the guy that was guilty of it. So it is a first down. They back it up to the 36-yard line, but a fresh set of downs for Georgia Southern.
I certainly didn't see that whole game, by the way.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go. Now the Aggies are going to have to start thinking about using their timeouts. Ellison has been great, especially in the second half. Ransby's the back behind. Gives it to Ransby this time. He runs straight into the pile.
Number 1, Ramsey.
Clint Bernard was there to stop him along with our beat writer. The Aggies used their second timeout. 2:49 will be a short timeout just to stop the clock. So they might be able to stop it after this, run it down if they can stop them. Obviously, one more first down is nice and slow. If they can stop them, they can get the ball back with about a minute to go. And they'll have no timeouts. I expect Ellison to keep it on this and try to get around the corner.
Yeah, I think you put the hands in your best player on offense, and that has been Ellison. He's had one heck of a night. This is 2 weekends back-to-back where Ellison has just lit it up.
New Mexico State University's Pan American Center has been named a top stop for university entertainment venues in the 10,000 to 15,000 capacity category. It's based on concert and event grosses for the 2013 calendar year. Venues today rank the 13,000-seat Pan Am Center, the 5th place venue in this category, right behind arenas in St. Louis and Dayton. See more. Go to newscenter.nmsu.edu. We go to Walker on the far side. he gets out to the 30-yard line, gets himself about 4, maybe 5. It's going to set up a big 3rd down and 4 play, and everything is on the line.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see
Timeout,
Ellison.
New Mexico State.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see Ellison pitching that one. I thought for sure he'd keep it and try to make something happen.
They'll add 2 seconds to the game clock, and this is it. Everything's right here, right? Figure 2:41. You know, and I'm going to be honest with you. If they get 3 on this play, I think Willie Fritz goes for it on 4th down.
I don't
He'll
think
run the clock all the way down and make a decision.
Well, maybe, Jeff. So I was going to say, no, I don't think so. But look where they are. You're right. From a field position standpoint, I think that could be a good option for them because they are. I don't know how you punt it down.
This may be 4-down territory right here. Ellison was the player of the week. He's got now 400-yard rushing games. And he's got the ball and the game in his hand. Number 4. Heck of a sophomore quarterback for Georgia Southern from Camellia, Georgia.
So the crowd's up because they know the importance of the play.
He's going to throw it. Nope, he's going right up the gut, and he may go all the way. Ellison on a quarterback draw, scores from 32 yards out. Boy, he is something special. Kevin Ellison, 34 yards, touchdown Georgia Southern, and that might just be check, please.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. This is a draw all day long. Look at the hole. Look at the blocking up front.
Tremendous call.
Oh, they've owned that defensive line, and that makes it tough. And when you have everyone spread, the linebackers are out covering. They're in coverage, so there's no one left. You're left with a safety or someone else coming across the top, and it's just too late.
It's just a great play call by Doug Roos, the offensive coordinator, and Willie Fritz and that staff over there. Just on 3rd down with everything on the line, and you put the ball and the game in the hands of a guy who's just been tremendous. And he took it up the gut and went 34 yards. They took it 4 plays, 48 yards. It took him 1:21. Yep, you deserve to dance, young man. He might be Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week again after the way he's played today. He has just been tearing it up, 145 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for that young man. Doug Martin, he's got to be wondering what happened. It's such a, I don't want to say great, but a really, really good first half for New Mexico State, both offensively and defensively, Danny. I thought the Aggies came out and really answered the bell and started to slip away with turnovers.
During his press conference, there was a few things he said that needs. He said, we need three or four things that really are important for the game. And one of those we need is we need no turnovers. And of course, that's one of the keys too, right? So everybody sees it. It's like you can't turn the ball over and expect to win these games. So those are really the telltale of it. Does it mean that your football program didn't get any better? I saw a much improved team, Jeff. I really did. Hey, Georgia Southern is tough.
This is a good team, and maybe we'll watch this play out.
Yeah.
I know they weren't picked to win this league, but as people are watching, you look at what they did now. I mean, this is a team that went up and played some people this year and played them tough. They lost by 4 points to Georgia Tech out of the ACC. They lost by a point to North Carolina State out of the ACC. And there's a lot of people who, by the eye test and what's going on now, think that Georgia Southern may be the best team in this league. And we'll see. But this is a doggone good football team. Morgan, 3 yards deep, is coming out. He wants to make something happen. He's on the short side of the field and feels his way out to about the 22-yard line. Aggies will get it, 2:29 to go. They're down by 2 scores, 36-21. Let's see which quarterback comes back out. I thought Tyler Rogers, it will be Tyler Rogers. He had a good series, a good possession last time they had the football. They went down the field and scored a touchdown. Let's see what they do now. 2:29 to go. Aggies down by 2 scores. Rogers with one back with him in the backfield. He's throwing. It's complete. Keldrick Morgan gets 9 yards. We've not seen Larry Rose since the fumble, have we?
We have not. And Morgan continues to have a big night. Tyler has spread the ball around to multiple receivers tonight.
Tyler looking again on 2nd and 1. Now he's going to take it and run for the first down and get down as he gets walloped at the 35-yard line.
Rogers on the
So
scramble.
first down. Morgan's now over 100 yards. 10 receptions for Keldrick, 100 yards for the Aggie playmaker. First down for New Mexico State for 35. The clock ticking at 1:53. Rogers pumps, trying to escape, and then just throws it away.
And you know, Georgia Southern, they have a too deep, too high prevent defense on. It's kind of hard to get anything deep. You know, you're going to get something intermediate to mid. That's about it.
Bernard Dawson was the guy applying the pressure. Big sophomore from Thompson, Georgia, goes 245, and he can move a little bit. Second down and 10 for the Aggies. Rogers throws over the middle, crossing pattern. It is complete. That is Brown. Jarrell got hit hard. That was Dawson on the coverage.
Now, Jarrell Brown has had a big night, too, as well.
Third down and 2 for New Mexico State. First down will be the 45. They give it to Betancourt. He's got it, and about a yard or two more. So they'll stop the clock to move the change. We're at 1:26. I think they take realistically, you score quick, you try the onside kick again. I know it's really remote. It's not completely over yet. Georgia Southern's really struggling to get their defense in. The ball was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Tyler was looking for Joshua Bowen, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. All right, so you look ahead to next week for New Mexico State, going on the road. This is when they really felt they needed to play well to get back on track. Yep. Came out of the gates quick, and at times have played well. The turnovers just really killed them. Rogers throws, caught over the middle. Complete for another first down. That is Adam Shapiro. I'm sorry, that's Bowen. Bowen at the 40-yard line.
Bowen's made some catches down the line. Yeah, you know, Jeff, they have. They've played well. There were times they came out and really lit it up offensively. They were moving the ball the first half all day long, easy, right? Passes like that all day long. And it's just those turnovers kind of just turned the tide. And coming back out in the second half, it was a complete different Georgia Southern team.
Yeah, it was. It was. And even after the first quarter. That was Brown for the first down, so the Aggies have it at the 29. Trying to punch this thing in and make it a little bit interesting with an onside kick if they can score quick enough. Rogers looks, throws across the middle. It's complete again. It is Brown again. It is a first down again, this time to the 18-yard line. Clock stops at 52 seconds as they reset the sticks. So hold on a second. Ball's at the 18-yard line. Rogers looked better in his fourth quarter throws. It is caught by, it's dropped. Bowen over there. You know, it's probably best that ball was dropped anyway. He was going anywhere.
Yeah, he was going anywhere and stops the clock. No doubt about it. I thought for sure he was going to try to get that fade in the corner of the end zone at the top there.
This is where you just love a 6'5" athletic receiver just to throw it up and go get him. Mm-hmm. Second down at 10, 42 seconds remaining here in Las Cruces. Georgia Southern leading New Mexico State 36-21. Tyler's going to throw again. Pumps. Now he may tuck it and run. He's getting out of the pocket looking for someone. That's good coverage. That's just good coverage down. Really, really good coverage, and that was Wright who knocked it away. There was nowhere to go. Nick Wright was there.
Yep.
I mean, you had three guys in the pattern. There was no window to try to squeak it into.
Right, and he did have them run around. He was trying to direct them which way they should go, but there wasn't much being had. It was just good defense all the way around there.
Third down and 10. 34 seconds remaining. Rogers goes into the end zone this time, looking for Bowen. It was knocked away at the last moment again.
Flag on that.
And there is a flag.
I thought for sure it hit him, and Josh has got very good hands, so that was surprising. So it must have had a little yanking and pulling him.
Deion Stanley's the guy who's going to get flagged for the infraction. 29 is Stanley, the guy, one of the guys who's had the interception. And so it'll be a first down for New Mexico State with 29 seconds to go. Aggies have it now at the 2-yard line because the infraction occurred in the end zone. Betancourt's the running back. Boy, if you run it and you don't get it, you may not get into the play. Yeah. So you got to believe they're going to throw this thing, and they are. They throw the fade to Matthews and throw it over his head. Never really had a chance at that, and there was some good coverage.
Yeah, great coverage there. But still, even on that fade route, there's usually good coverage, and you're trying to hit that back shoulder kind of a spin. And Matthews is a pretty tall guy, so he can get up there too.
There's Tyler's numbers on the day, 34 for 47 and 329, which is nice. Those 3 interceptions, though, really tell the tale of this game.
Right.
17 seconds to get a playoff for New Mexico State. Rogers trying to get his first touchdown pass of the day. Instead, he gives it to Betancourt, who is in for a touchdown. Brandon Betancourt's second touchdown run of the day for New Mexico State. The Aggies are back to within 1 score with a PAT pending with 20 seconds to go. I know, I've seen weird things too.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
I've seen really weird things in my time. 80 yards they went in 2 minutes and 9 seconds. 13 plays. Look, if you don't take anything else out of this, those last 2 drives hopefully give your quarterback some confidence because those were 2 nice drives.
They were nice drives, and they're a little prevent defense.
Yeah, they were.
But you still have to take them down there and score, right?
Well, it's not like I didn't think Georgia Southern got a ton of pressure on Rogers all day when he was throwing.
Right.
But he was pretty well protected. I thought the offensive line, and with the big injury to Cunningham early, is the point after is good. I thought for the most part the offensive line played pretty well for New Mexico State today.
They really didn't get to him. You're right. It's just those turnovers, those pesky little turnovers.
Brandon Betancourt's numbers, 11 carries, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns. And so you know now you will see an onside kick. And I'm sure Willie Fritz would have liked this to be a little bit easier towards the end of this thing. I mean, once Ellis has scored that last touchdown, you figure that was put away, you weren't going to have to worry about it. And obviously it's going to be something miraculous and the odds are against you here. But as a coach, you always know you've seen something crazy, right?
Yeah, right, no doubt. I'd kick it the same way, too, by the way, because Clint Bernard was just booking it down there. There he is, Clint Bernard, 13, and put the lick to someone. If you do that again, is that receiver going to say, yeah, shoot, be a little bit worried? Maybe.
Alex Laufman is the guy who's going to do the onside kick for New Mexico State. So he is your onside kick specialist. Sophomore out of Kansas. Nice to have an onside kick specialist. You could have got a scholarship. Oh, you did get a scholarship. I could have got a scholarship that way.
Being an onside kick specialist.
You better be pretty doggone good to be the onside kick specialist, don't you think?
Yeah.
He's not built like a kicker, is he? 5'10", 205. So let's see what they can come up with here. And the hands team is there. Last time it was Zach Walker. Walker's the guy number 9. You see 5 guys up front here at the bottom of your screen in white. And then number 9 is Walker, the guy who was able to corral it last time. Let's see if it goes the same way. Ready to go, and Laufman's about ready to approach it. Wait for that high kick, and there is Walker again. And that is your ball game. Zach Walker. Aggies never had a chance. The way they defended that is everybody goes up and blocks. Now, there is a flag on the play, but it's about where it would have been offsides on New Mexico State. Willie Fritz feels pretty good about the way this thing's going to end. Well, you know, I was told by a lot of people that he really did not take this thing lightly. He knew he was going to be in for a fight. And Georgia Southern, coming off of those 2 wins, comes out here a couple time zones away. It's a good win for Georgia Southern, Danny.
Yeah, that was a good win, and he didn't take New Mexico State lightly. And as I spoke to him, he said, "Hey, you know what? They've had some tough draws early on, but they're a solid team, and we're going to have to come out and stay with that inside zone read and see what it takes, see if it's enough to take us in victory." It was, because that was a tough play.
Now they're in victory formation, the coach's favorite formation, and Georgia Southern with one more knee is going to win their 3rd straight game and improve to 3-0 in the Sun Belt Conference. New Mexico State's first conference loss. They fall to 2-4 and 1-1 in league. Go on the road next week and they'll play at Troy. And a tough loss, but Danny, got to believe there's some stuff positive you can take out of it, especially those last 2 drives. And, you know, you knew this was going to be a high-scoring offense, and for the most part, especially early in the game, I thought the Aggie defense first half played really well.
Yeah, I think there are some positives. There's always positive that you can take from any game, and it was the tale of 2 stories. First half, really, New Mexico State was there.
All right, we'll come back and wrap this thing up for you. Final score here in Las Cruces. Georgia Southern beats New Mexico State 36-28 here on Aggie Vision. Our next home football game of the season comes your way Saturday, November 1st. Aggies and Texas State. Dennis Franchione brings his team here. Be sure to wear your crimson to support the Aggies. in their Sun Belt Conference. That'll be their third Sun Belt Conference game of the season. Kickoff is set for 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jeff Symbieta and Danny Nee, hope you enjoyed the game here on Aggie Vision. 36-28, Georgia Southern beats New Mexico State. Georgia Southern goes to 3-0. For them, a great victory to come all the way out here. First time that program's ever been to the Land of Enchantment, and a big win for them.
You know, we knew Georgia Southern was going to be a tough game, and they played hard. The first half, they had them. We were playing tough. We were playing good. It's those dang interceptions, fumble, all that stuff gets you. We talked about that, and it ate us up.
Turnovers were key, and you'll see them as you take a look at the highlights of the game, because the Aggies really came out and jumped on them early and played very, very well and had a lot of people jumping around here. Tyler Rogers throwing across his body, and this is the first turnover of the game. Adam Shapiro was the guy who turned it over. Georgia Southern, but the Aggie defense held. They got the ball back, and Xavier Hall scored his first touchdown.
Yeah, Xavier Hall, we talked about him in the open being a very key guy to this, and he got in the end zone.
Then it was the freshman, Larry Robinson, the third. He scored. Aggies were up 14-0.
Hey, they're in this thing. They're in it all the way, right? Then Georgia Southern starts to get on a roll.
Kevin Ellison scored. He had an unreal day. The Southern Belt Conference Player of the Week. And then more Aggie turnovers. And this was a big one right before the half. Matt Dobson stepped in front of the Tyler Rogers pass. That set up a field goal, and that made it a 2-point game at halftime as the Aggies were trying to extend their lead going into the break.
Yeah. You know, it's those things, those single plays don't make it, but put them all together, it makes a difference.
The second half was big and more offense and more Ellison. So he gets around, and they look like a different team, and then they change backs, and this is Ian Days. They just throw back after back after back at New Mexico State.
Yeah, but New Mexico State comes back. There we see Ben Court getting in the end zone.
And then this was the backbreaker. This was on a third down play with about 2 minutes to go. They called timeout, and just a tremendous call by the offensive staff. That was Ellison up the middle. And Aggies get a late one to make it an 8-point game. Betancourt's second touchdown of the day. He was the leading rusher for New Mexico State, but not enough. 36-28, New Mexico State falls to Georgia Southern. And now you look forward. You got to take some positives out of it, and hopefully you say, okay, if you're New Mexico State, our defense played really well against a good team in the first half, and you had 2 fourth-quarter drives.
Yeah, you know, Coach said early on at press conferences, you got to take care of the ball,
Yep.
And we need to take care of the ball. But the positives are move the ball, right? Own the air offensively. You know, Tyler Rogers, he owned the air. But it's those interceptions, those fumbles that really cost.
Turnovers will kill you, and every coach will tell you that, and that was certainly the story tonight. Take a look at your play of the game. It came very, very early in the game, and it was a good one by a kid that went to high school right here in Longview.
Yeah, it's good to see the local kids getting on the board, getting there. We talked about Xavier Hall in our open, saying, hey, he's going to be a good one. He's going to be a key. Gets the ball, takes it in the end zone. His 4th for the year. That's a great job.
Yeah. Aggies used 3 running backs tonight. Hall, Betancourt, and Rose, and they all at times looked really, really good. And there's a lot of positives to take out of it. If you don't see improvement with this New Mexico State team, you're watching something different than I think most people are. This is a team that is fighting, and here's another big key. They gave up 29 straight points. They were up 14-0 and then found themselves down 29-14 and didn't lay down and did come back and twice got it to within 1 score. Look, when your program's been where the program's been, you take your improvements, you take your good stuff in doses. You take what you can, and I think that's something to take out of this thing, that this team is not going to fight, and it's a different team.
Yeah, and, you know, these young defensive players, I think each game they get better and stronger and faster, and they're going to continue to get good and better, right? So they'll be in this thing. These games coming up, we'll be in them.
Good win for Willie Fritz's club and Georgia Southern as they come out here for the first time in their history. And they win, and they go to 3-0, and they are now in first place in the Sun Belt Conference. Hope you enjoyed the game. Join us for our next broadcast, which will be Thursday, October 9th. Aggie Volleyball takes on Texas Pan Am at 7 o'clock. For Danny Nee and our entire Aggie Vision staff, I'm Jeff Symbieta. Have a great night. Thanks for being with us.